yesterday, they got accused of violating sanctions and doing deals with a Russian arms industry.
HAAS
Wow, check please.
HAAS did.
Sweet.
Right.
No, but the HREs, God, they're awesome. I love those wheels.
I mean, they're cool
But they
wheels.
have mad HAAS automation happening
There
down
you go.
there.
I mean,
at off hours, they spin the machine around and prints a gun out the back.
Hello,
They sell them
Gene.
to the Russians.
Gene, I got we were trying to make a splitter, and we got a gun.
Gene,
came
we
out.
put in the file and we got an AK-47.
What is this?
What can we? Oh, wait, I guess we could take the trophy with this finally. But Jesus,
I think this is extreme, Gene. I don't know.
it's a bit too American for me,
Extreme
Gene.
measures, yeah. It's a bit too American. And really, and now that we're sort of looking back, and it's like, during qualifying, Bloomquist jumped in on cold tires and got to pole. Incredible lap.
Well, but you've just explained.
Now that we know, yes, exactly. We sort of know that that's what was happening. But you know what's crazy is that, do you know who caught them?
What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Groove Life. Never heard of Groove Life? They have reinvented some of the staples of men's wardrobe, right? And mainly, we're talking about belts. Are you using the same belt you've been doing for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? The belt is a very old design, but it's time for a major update and a rethink. The Groove Belt has a proprietary webbing engineered with just the right amount of stretch, and Groove Life designs the world's baddest buckle. It snaps using rare earth neodymium. Neodymium. That's magnets set in an aluminum alloy. Trust me, your waist will thank you. This belt is comfortable, almost infinitely adjustable. You can micro adjust it for the big meals or the small meals or the I haven't eaten for 3 days and I'm feeling very skinny. You can micro adjust all of it, and whatever happens to your Groove Life gear, they're here to help. They've got a 94-year no BS warranty. Why 94 years? Because the average life expectancy is not that. I don't know. I'm guessing it's like the house that my parents have in South Carolina has 27-mile-an-hour speed limits, and it's 27 instead of 25 just because you'll remember it more. 94 years. You will remember a 94-year no BS warranty, making the Groove Belt the last belt you'll ever need. The buckle includes what they like to call stiff tech. That's a fancy way of saying there's no annoying belt flaps that need to be tucked in anywhere. The Groove Belt is good for the office, the woods, the backyard, the club, and everything in between. Plus, if it never needs to be adjusted. You just put it on and forget about it. And they don't just make belts. Groove Life has wallets, rings, watch bands, AirPods cases, and much more. The everyday carry, as it were. They've grown from a side project to a company that now provides for over 100 families, recognized by Inc. magazine as one of the fastest growing companies in America. These products are very high. The wallet seems like you could run over it with a car, and I really like the AirPods case. I am about that. It's time to bring your belt into the 21st century. Head over to groovelife.com/tire and use promo code TIRE for 20% off all Groove Life products. That's the best offer you will find anywhere, but you've got to use my code TIRE for 20% off your order. One last time, groovelife.com/tire and then promo code TIRE for 20% off your order. Also brought to you today, of course, Off the Record, our favorite law assistants. They're not a law firm. They connect you with lawyers, right? So the way it works is you get a ticket. Oh no, that ticket's bullshit. Most of them are. You go to Off the Record. You do not plead guilty. You go to offtherecord.com/TST or use code TST10 on the Off the Record app. Right? Send in your ticket. They fight that ticket by connecting you with a local lawyer in the jurisdiction where you got the ticket. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to go to court. You don't have to fill out forms. You don't have to appear. You don't have to do anything. They handle it for you. 97% success rate, folks. If they don't get those points off your record, your money back. So go to offtherecord.com/TST or use code TST10 on the Off the Record app. 10% off all legal services from Off the Record from your friends at The Smoking Tire. All right, today's bit of radio features the always brilliant Mike Spinelli. Mike is an automotive journalist. Mike is a television producer and a writer. He is currently working on the documentary series for IMSA on IMSA's YouTube channel, just racking up those numbers, doing really, really well over there. And Mike always brings us some of the best radio. We love doing radio with this guy. He's a genius on the mic, and he has flown in from New York to be with us here today. Mike Spinelli on the Smoking Tire Podcast. I blew way too much money on 4 LL Bean cardigans, but I feel like $1 million bucks.
They look comfortable as fuck.
They are very comfortable. I'm very stoked on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a sweater guy now.
Well, that's a nice
Cardigan
teal,
guy.
too. So, like, I'm not a fan of teal. In fact, I really, like, physically hate teal.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
it goes back.
Like, are you going to, like, projectile vomit across the table?
No,
on my
because
teal?
that teal has the right amount of green.
It's got the
It's got the right.
It's a fucking
the
good.
teal.
It's good. I should paint a car this color.
But that's why I hate the '90s so much. Is that there was so much teal. Actually, maybe even late '80s. I don't really hate.
Oh,
the
like
90s,
so? Do
but
you hate like fox body teal?
Fox body teal?
Oh
That's
man,
the thing. Although, is
love
it coming
me.
back?
My next
Do you
Porsche
really?
is going to be PTS Plus fox body teal, baby.
Dude, give me rose, like any rose gold, rose silver, any kind of that.
How ahead of the curve was I on
no,
pink?
it's serious.
I fucking kicked pink into overdrive,
There
bro.
you go. Look at that.
Fox body teal is a good
No,
teal.
because all right. So on a fox body, it looks. I mean, all right, it looks okay, but pull up a
on a
Taurus.
not on
Right,
a
exactly,
Taurus.
like a straight up Taurus.
Admittedly, not so much.
Fucking hard. That color used to drive me crazy. Even well,
Like this?
the left one,
That's not a
That's
good.
bad.
It's not so
There's
good.
no flake in that paint. It's not even shining.
Fox body, every year Ford has a color, one color that they spend way more money on than the rest of their colors.
Right.
Right? Like it was molten orange with the Raptor,
Yes.
nitrous blue with the Focus RS.
Right, and they put out a bunch of press releases.
And it's all of them. That there's
Yeah.
like the lava one for the Mach-E GT.
Right.
Iconic silver, which was mine for the base Mach-E.
Yes.
And it's like the paint is way deeper and better quality than all the other paints they make.
Right.
The teal on the Fox body was it for 93.
For
that was the
93,
color.
right? 93. But I don't know what it is. There's something. I mean, here's what's happening though with that color now is I feel like it's more relevant now. It's almost like it's normcore. You know what I mean? It's like
wait, what? We need to come up with a buzzword for it. It's like post normcore ironic.
Yeah, it's ironic normcore.
It's post ironic pre normcore.
But normcore is so funny. It's like yeah, I got
Normcore
these.
came and went. Remember,
yeah,
it was
but
like
in-
Seinfeld's outfits from the TV show were like
Exactly.
had about a month where it was like, all right,
Right.
here's what we're gonna do this month, and then it was back out.
Yeah, but there's still elements of it that kids. The kids are still
In the Brooklyns?
When like the
You
what's
show
that?
me a fucking hot notchback. It's modified in today's style in that teal.
All right,
I'm
if your
in,
notchback,
100%.
if your Mustang
Was the teal?
was the teal, right? All
I
right,
think,
'cause
I mean, that one
that's
right
not
there that
bad.
Zach has looks excellent.
That's
with the
not
gold
bad.
wheels, it sets it off with the gold wheels. I don't
There
know
are
about,
so many colors that would be better on that car. in my
Yeah.
opinion.
you don't like the gold wheels?
No, I like gold wheels. I don't think the paint looks. I think notchbacks are cool, but I don't. I'm separating the paint color from the notchback.
Oh, from the
like,
car?
I'd rather have another colors. The gold wheels are sweet.
Yeah, I wouldn't paint any car that color. But
I thought you were just saying that you love the teal on the Fox
Hello,
body.
people.
no, I
PG.
wouldn't paint I wouldn't
Oh,
paint.
right.
There's
Other
a lot of
colors,
other
yeah.
cars that I wouldn't want that color.
Right.
I actually do think. Imagine my Boxster Spider in that color. I think it would be fucking hot. Actually, I really do think it would be great.
I mean, I like Miami blue, so
Miami Blue's
I agree.
good. Shark Blue's
Shark
good.
Blue's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I could see a Porsche in a color. But again, it's the reason why your sweater is nice. It's got more green and less blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
okay.
there's more blue,
That's
like
a good point.
The more blue in a teal, It becomes like
more blue
turquoise,
in a tea. Right? Yeah.
and I don't like that.
Okay.
I'm just not a
Fair.
big turquoise
Fine.
fan.
Have it your way. I imagine we've been speeding. Cool. Welcome to the show, Michael Spinelli.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Good to be here.
My
Mid-Atlantic accents for everybody on this.
Yes, of course. I have been here. Let's see. The last time I was here was 1 year ago because I come in March.
Do you just have a recurring set on your Google calendar?
Well, it just sort of always ends up that way. I come here in March. Of course, this year I came during the, what do they call it? The river in the sky?
Atmospheric river.
Atmospheric river.
Yeah. Don't bang on the table. Read the sign,
I know,
motherfucker.
it's a nice
Zach
sign,
had a
too.
sign made.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm worried that plate metal's scratching the table, though, when it gets moved around. We should put
Well,
a
don't
little,
bang on
we
the
should get a
thing
little
on the bottom.
stand, a gasket or a stand, or some of those little furniture feet.
Like Zach's got on his laptop.
That keeps that
big
people
one.
were fucking bitching about hearing the computer fan. So we air gapped. You know how like they prop open the Volkswagen engine covers and it looks all weird. That's what
There
those,
you go.
that's
You
what those
air
are.
gapped your. I mean,
The laptop, so the fan comes on less.
you know, you guys. I gotta say, not
We
you
listen
guys.
to the audience,
You listen to the audience, but the audience listens maybe too much.
like the guy.
Some people use really good stereos, and they
think
admit
that's the
that. They
thing.
go, "I think it's only me.
It's only
but
me
I can
'cause
hear da da da."
I'm gonna fucking
I
piss
am.
some people off right now. I got a real angry email about a very specific thing.
I love those.
And you know what it was?
Kind of my
It was
favorite
this.
stuff. No, the sip.
It was that I sipped. Don't
Yeah.
fucking sip.
Don't sip.
Don't fucking sip.
Well,
And
if
I
you're
feel you
listening-
because when I eat, I understand this person. You know why? Because I have eaten noodles with Thaddeus. Oh. Noodles with fucking Thaddeus.
I have too.
Bro, you could hear that motherfucker slurp it in Thailand.
Dude, when we were in Tokyo eating ramen in that tiny little ramen joint,
Yeah.
and Thaddeus,
Boom. It's got a bass slurp to it.
it's right. It's like,
And that's how it's a thing. That's how people eat them.
And he's like, "That's how you're supposed to do it."
Yeah.
yeah, but his is
But
like the floor shakes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everybody.
He doesn't do it with his mouth. He does it with his stomach.
Yeah.
He
He just slurps
vacuums
with
down there.
So I first, before I poured this can of Louis,
Right.
I looked for a straw because I thought maybe that would.
Yeah.
But now what I'm doing is this.
Just move away from the light. You know, it's like if you're listening to this show on your Focals, you know, with your
Yeah.
$60,000 tuner or
Yeah.
whatever you call it. I don't know, your amp and
You got to have the tubes.
and your DAC and your all that
The
shit.
tubes going.
Your tube. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think you kind of got to put up with it.
Some people were very upset.
Do you know how
Weird.
I mean,
how
I'm
much
sorry, I don't wanna
further
piss
we
anybody
go
off.
than most podcasts?
pretty far.
Spike's show is like a Zoom handy recorder and a fucking like.
Yeah.
And I love Spike, but that's what most podcasts are.
Yeah. I mean, this is a hell of a setup.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time and money on this motherfucker.
I know, and I
only
feel
so I
like-
could do this, and you can hear.
Those are really cool shaped ice cubes, also.
What?
I know. I'm a simple man.
That is a reach. my
That's
friend.
I know, but
That's very complimentary.
I have
A
tried
lot
to
of
fuck
people
us.
ask me about the Louis, which is this awesome Ganja soda. It's not on the market yet.
Man.
It's not. It's that you can't buy it yet. But I have pre-pro.
Of course.
Prototype.
Wait a
cans.
minute. What's the base flavor?
Satsuma.
I love California so fucking much.
This is from New Orleans. That's hence the Louis.
Oh,
It's
of course,
Louisiana. No, it's like a Satsuma is like it's an orange. It's a
I
kind
know,
of
but
orange.
like,
Mandarin.
see, I'm
It's like a mandarin orange.
I am the most basic motherfucker. I
Oh,
think that I
yes.
know.
Yes, you are.
It's really it's
Look at
getting
this
to
coffee
be.
cup. Of course you're the fucking. Where
What
do
does
you
it
even
say on it?
currently caffeinating? This is like a this should be like a sign you hang above your
Live, laugh,
fucking
love.
your
That's
live
what that
laugh
is, yeah.
love in an Airbnb that you're flipping on HGTV.
Now you can bring that kind of whimsy with you.
Oh man, basic. I'm the fuck. I mean, look at that, and look at the perfect font. I don't
And
know.
it's
yeah.
got that foam. It's got
it's that terrible foam.
bubble wrap feel.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Hotel, right?
downstairs.
Downstairs here?
Yes.
We have those cups here?
Yes, you do.
That's a West Side Collector cup?
I was going with the bit, but this is from downstairs.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
My guys gave you that cup?
No, I think there was a cup in the in the cabinet.
And it was that?
There's a whole bunch of them.
Fuck outta here.
You got to go down and check them out.
We got to have words with somebody.
Yeah.
I can't have people leaving with that garbage.
Blessed. Hashtag blessed.
This is like
Have a West Side day.
when I have a comic strip about myself, it's I want whoever drew the Kathy comic strip. Currently happening.
That is Kathy's
It's
coffee
Kathy's
cup.
coffee cup. I am
Absolutely
Kathy.
is. All right.
Oh my God. Well,
Well, at least you are. This time you're on the show. You have a job.
yes.
Remember last time
nobody
you
knew
were
it.
like,
Yeah.
you
Well,
were like, no
I was
JOB,
trying-
no problem.
I was trying out a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time I have a job. I'm back with JF at Tangent Vector for
can't quit
a
me.
lot of time. I can't quit
Quit
you.
you.
Every time I leave,
They pulled
they
me
pull
back.
me back in.
You're trying to make IMSA happen.
Well,
keep trying to make
Well, you know what?
trying to make
The
IMSA
view-
happen like it's a thing.
Credit to you, the views, like 1.2 million views.
I'm telling you.
Explain what we're talking about.
all right, so we're talking about the Win the Weekend docu-series that we produced for IMSA about the new GTP class.
Is this a reverse engineered Drive to Survive for IMSA?
No, well, funny you should mention. Not really, but because of Drive to Survive, I think that sort of opened up the possibilities to for racing series to say, oh well, we can tell stories too. But really, what we did was we went back to NFL films. We went back to we took a look at what is it? Showtime show The Circus.
Oh, the political show.
We sort of reverse
they
engineered
really
that a little
fucking
bit.
both sides that shit. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I know what you mean, but like
But you know what I mean. But it's more of the style of the show.
normalizing fascism since 2013.
Well, but it's real. But I really like the way they shoot it. There's some really. I mean, it's as a docu-series that combines elements of documentary storytelling and elements of news gathering.
Yes.
It's kind of neat. So we sort of, we're not doing anything that's super groundbreaking. We're just sort of bringing a few things together to tell this story about the GTP class now.
With what looks like lots of slow-mo.
Oh man, Will and
so
Tom
much-
and the slow-mo.
so much slow-mo.
Dude, it's the old gang though. It's really nice to be with the old gang again.
Yeah.
And those guys can do a nice slow-mo shot. I think that's a particularly good slow-mo. But yeah, I mean, we have hot mic moments with the teams.
Do you get all? Is it all access?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you get to use? Is it all? Do you have to shoot all your own footage, or do you get to use broadcast footage?
We
as
use
well?
a little bit of broadcast footage. Yeah, we can do that. It's we have a round table, which Andy. Well, in this particular one, it's Andy Lally. Is it 5
Bosey
times?
and-
We got Bosey,
sorry.
Andy Lally, and Parker Kligerman. So the old gang is kind of together.
Full Rolodex.
Pretty much full
Yeah.
on roll. But in the next one we had Marshall Pruitt from Racer.
Oh, yeah.
Marshall's old hand at this stuff. Who else? We had Kim Kuhn was on the last one. She
she's
covers
great.
motorsports. She's really she's great.
Yeah.
And that was with who else did we have on that one? That was with Bosey and Rob Holland.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so it is. It's the same. It's kind of
do
our
we
crowd.
know?
But
Yeah.
it's really sort of like we're trying to kind of sort of broaden the experience, right? Because people that we know might not necessarily think to watch sports car racing, but sports
Yeah.
car racing people are really into it.
Yeah.
So we want to sort of bridge that line, or bridge that chasm, perhaps, between people who are into just cars and cool shit.
I want to
and
watch sports
people
car
who are-
racing.
Well,
I
watch
can't.
this.
I can't make myself get into it.
Well, let's see. Have you been watching Win the Weekend? You haven't been watching Win the Weekend.
I haven't, but
See, that's
should
the problem. See, this is what we're trying to do. But it's
You need
also
someone to get to the bridge before you
gotta
can
get
walk
to-
across the bridge.
far from the
I
bridge.
think when
You need a
Stefan
bus that drops
Papadakis
them off
was
at
in
the
here
bridge.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and when he told me why he didn't like certain racing series, and he brought up, I think the fact that there's so many paid drivers is a turnoff.
I mean-
and I was like, oh, that fucking hit me. That was
that's
it.
the nature of the game. I mean, that really. I think they've done a pretty good job of making the top class a real top class. A real top class with the best drivers and stuff in it. I mean, you have to have. There's always going to be bronze drivers, right? This is the nature of modern sports car racing, right?
Yeah.
And these guys are supporting this thing in a way that, I mean, I wasn't around when there were maybe more sponsors, or there was maybe
No, they
more
used to all be
attention.
drug dealers.
Well, when they were all drug dealers.
They were all drug
I
dealers.
wasn't
That's
around
why.
for that. I wasn't around for
The
a
best
time when
sports
that
car
was
racing
happening.
was when there were no sponsors because they couldn't declare the actual sponsors on the cars.
Pablo Escobar. Yeah, no,
All this racing from Steve's Hardware, one store, funding this whole operation. Yep.
Randy Lanier was like, his sponsor was like Randy's jet ski rental on like an Indy car.
That's
It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
What
that's
are, you,
the thing.
what are you renting for? $20,000 an hour.
I mean, what a crazy time. I mean, the problem again, like they did get more manufacturers involved by making it a little bit cheaper to pull together all these elements, right? I mean, the hybrid system is spec, but they can use whatever engine they want. So Cadillac's got the V8, and Acura's got the Turbo 6, and let's see, Porsche and Ferrari, Porsche and BMW have their Turbo 8s and stuff. So it's. Yeah, it's
Is
so
the challenge that there are so many classes within what is considered one race, whereas F1 it's the F1. I know they have F2 before that, but it's only F1 is on the track at once. Whereas this, it's like there's how many classes running at the same time?
Yeah, I mean,
a weekend,
four,
like
three, four,
Three,
three.
I think.
Well, no, four, including. So you've got prototype, you got prototype 2, you got prototype 3, and then you got Daytona. You got what do you call it?
what used to be GTD.
The GTD and GTD Pro.
Oh, so it's 5.
Is that 5?
Well, you just
a lot of
you
cars.
just fucking listed 5.
You
I
said
can
five.
count. I
we're
might be a
concentrating-
dumbass, but I can count to 5. Don't you tell me I can't count to fucking 5.
That's
bro.
right. Well, Win the Weekend is only about GTP, so
Okay.
I've been pretty much head down in the GTP class. But there's another top prototype class that doesn't have it uses a similar chassis but doesn't use the hybrid system. There's the smaller with the who makes the smaller prototypes. I mean, all of this stuff is interesting.
There's 5 classes. Let me look at the IMSA
right?
site.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
GTP, LMP2,
LMP2,
LMP3,
LMP3, right,
GTD
exactly.
Pro, and GTD.
Man.
And are LMP2 and 3 the same as the cars they use in Europe?
No.
Because aren't they LMP 1, 2, and 3?
I'm.
Did I just confuse you?
I think you did. Well, no. I mean, I'm not confused. I just don't know. I'm not really sure because you mean in
Look,
WEC?
LMP2 eligible
Yeah.
to compete in other global
WEC,
series
right.
such as WEC, including Le Mans.
Yeah. So this is the thing is they've
same as LMP3.
I know that they've been universalizing this, but I couldn't remember exactly how deep they got. The whole point is to synchronize these things throughout the world so that you could, if you're going to spend the money on a team that you want to race all the American tracks, maybe you do a WEC and you can
The
race
goal
at
is
Spa.
to have one race car.
One race car for
The
one.
globalists.
The
The globalists are taking over
Fun.
The
motorsports.
globalists are taking over.
We must say, let's go, Brandon, on every car in the series. Otherwise, the globalists will take over.
Actually, the thing about globalism is it's cheaper than not globalism.
For racing,
For
it
racing,
probably
yeah,
is, yeah.
Yeah, and that's really the point is to synchronize it. So, let's say you've got Cadillac going to Le Mans, you've got Cadillac also and Porsche both racing in WEC. It's
Is that new Ferrari?
The new Ferrari is WEC
That's
only.
WEC only,
yeah,
right?
but Lamborghini's coming to the U.S. GTP class next year
With a prototype?
with a prototype.
Really?
Lamborghini.
Really?
Lamborghini. Yep, they are.
I think it's really Audi, but they are putting a
No.
Lamborghini badge on it?
No, I mean I'm not. I forgot what engine they're using. So it depends on. Really,
Confirms
it's
IMSA GTP program. Huh.
yeah, and it's a V8. So it's. I
So,
don't know.
well, then that photo looks like every other fucking car. It just looks like a prototype. It's going to have hexagons on it. That's pretty much.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like for us, it's there's some interesting stories that we can tell. We we can really get deep doing pretty footage. It's kind of interesting to see the kinds of things that happen. There's of course the Meyer Shank incident that happened.
Yeah, I kept seeing people on Twitter going Meyer Shank this, Meyer Shank that. What actually happened?
So when I say they say it's a single person that did this on their team, the technical director. But basically, what they did was
they threw someone under the bus.
Yeah, I mean, who am I to say what actually happened? But because I'm not a
They're
reporter.
Saying it was one guy.
They're saying it was one guy.
I bet.
Well, so basically, what they did what the one person did was they found a way to miss. So basically, one of the things they do to keep the balance of performance is that they have telematics that IMSA regulators get from all the cars, and that includes tire temperatures and tire pressures. Right, so they have to be a certain tire pressure and tire temperature range. What they did was they found a way to have their tire temperature and pressures lower so that they would heat up faster, and it would project by telematics the proper numbers. So it was a little bit of a multiplier, probably like 1.0.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of genius. It's kind of genius,
but it's also
totally illegal.
That also sounds like even knowing nothing about the rule. That's projecting a false data signal to them. That pretty much sounds
that's
like
an
bullshit.
infraction. That's an infraction. Yeah. But it was kind of a cool. It's kind of like just multiply it by like 1.1 or whatever, and now we'll get to the right temperature.
It's like I tell you the odds of that being one guy's choice.
I mean,
but it's like if they got the mass airflow sensor data, and then the company was able to just multiply by 0.8.
Yeah,
I mean, see, it's flowing right, but they're actually flowing at 1.
Right. I mean, the thing is, like, one of the things that keeps the balance of performance fair is this telematics. The torque sensors are in a closed loop, right? Basically, so that you can't really get. But tire pressure and temperature maybe was not. I mean, I don't know exactly how it works.
Sure.
But it's kind of genius. So Acura, I mean,
that guy's going to have an exhibit in a museum about him in like 30 years.
30 years, yeah. The smoking unit
museum.
Yeah.
I think that would actually be funny. Like the Smoky Eunuch Museum of Motorsports cheating would be incredible.
That'd be incredible. I would love to do that. But
the difference, obviously, between Meyer Shank Racing and Meyer Shiv Racing is Meyer Shank Racing. That's metal. If it clanks, it's a shank. That's Meyer Shiv Racing.
That's
the plastic cars division.
That's a prison joke, ladies and gentlemen. So it's really interesting. So they got to keep their Daytona Rolex 24 win, but they lost all their points. So they kept the watches, they kept the win, but they lost all their points.
Man.
So now
you got to take back the watches.
How do you not take back the watch? I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just decisions.
You know what that watch is worth now? The cheating watch?
Oh, the cheating watch.
The multiplier. It's like the tire pressure. You got to multiply now by 1.3 because the cheating watch. They go to sell that shit at Christie's.
Could you imagine?
This is the watch that they didn't take back.
Yeah,
for the cheating.
I mean, think of all those guys. So you got Simon Pagenaud on that team. You got Blomqvist. Blomqvist
is that an offspring of Stig?
Stig's child. Yes.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Your name is Stig, and you
Tom.
name your kid Tom? That's disappointing.
Well, but Stig was Stig's real name?
Oh, is it not?
It might have been Sven. I'm guessing. And Stig is a...
You don't think that's his real name?
No, I don't know. It might... That's funny. I should know, but I don't.
Is that? I don't know. I don't know. You now have me thinking of myself.
Stig Leonard
Blomqvist. Yeah, that is his real name. Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Stig
I'm
is his first
disappointed
name.
in old man Stig.
Wait,
How do you not keep it Stig Jr.?
the second?
If I was Tom, I'd change my name to fucking Stig
I want
Jr.
him to be accepted at school and not get made fun of like me. Maybe it's like one of those things.
Yeah. Well, they
like when immigrants moved here, they changed their name. Like, no. You're not Giuseppe. You're John.
You're John.
Oh, and Helio Castroneves as well, huh?
Yeah, so you got Helio, you got Blomqvist, you got Colin Brown, and you got Pagenaud. All those guys were in that car. Yeah. And they, by the way, like their pace was really, really at another level.
Well, was it a 1.2 multiplier? I mean,
well, their grip, yeah, but I mean, yeah, exactly. Their grip was amazing. And really, and now that we're sort of looking back and it's like, oh, during qualifying, Blomqvist jumped in on cold tires and got to pole. Like, it was an incredible lap.
Well, but you've just explained.
Now that we know, yes, exactly. We sort of know that that's what was happening. But you know what's crazy is that, do you know who caught them?
Guys, let's take a quick break for NASCAR. This episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast is brought to you by NASCAR, and the 2023 season is officially underway. A handful of new races are now under these drivers' belts, and you can feel the competition really start to heat up. Up next, the drivers and teams are headed to Austin, Texas to compete at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas. And this track is massive. 20 total turns throughout the course. Road course NASCAR racing is my favorite kind of NASCAR racing. The drivers are going to need to stay locked in the entire time if they want a chance at taking home the checkered flag. It'll be interesting to see how the drivers handle in their first road course race of the season. There is definitely some road course aces competing, like IMSA star Jordan Taylor, F1 world champion Kimi Räikkönen, and AJ Allmendinger, who was so close to winning at COTA last year. Don't miss out on the awesome road course racing action. Tune in to the NASCAR Cup Series race on Sunday, March 26th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific on Fox.
But you know what's crazy is that, do you know who caught them?
Tell me it was fucking Bozy.
No, I wish it was Bozy. If it was Bozy, Bozy would be like, "Hey, fellas." No, it was HPD. It was Honda. Honda reported themselves, basically.
They narked on themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they got to keep the watches.
I mean, maybe, but don't forget, like, you've got another accurate team. You've got you got Wayne Taylor, who was real pissed off for coming in second, and now he's like, well, now I have all your points, and because so it's really, I don't know, like obviously no one's talking. We can't. It's not like we're gonna be able to get. I don't know. Who knows what we're going to be able to get next show. But stay tuned, for what we might be able to get.
How often are episodes?
Usually they're after a single race. The last one we did was after Sebring. So we'll have another one after. Well, it was Sebring testing. So the next one, Sebring is this coming weekend. Well, yeah. I mean, if we're live now, it's this coming weekend.
Going to Sebring?
No.
Oh.
I will be monitoring from home. But then we're doing another one at Long Beach. We're doing one at Watkins Glen, and I think another one at Road Atlanta, and then eventually Petite Le Mans. I think, there's another off race.
It's very good traffic. I mean, especially because of the IMSA YouTube channel only has 235,000 subscribers, and the video's got 4 times that in traffic. I mean, to get a 4x multiplier on your subscribers is pretty strong.
I mean, it's it's like, I feel like it's the kind of thing where
it's like almost like a 1.2 multiplier. Zing!
Oh,
that's
nice.
more like a 4.5.
Nice.
It's a 4x multiplier.
That was good. Very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a little bit more accessible if you're not a hardcore fan. It sort of tells the story of if you just watch this, the first 3 episodes, and then watched Sebring, you would basically have all the storylines ready to go.
And that's what's needed. It worked with Drive to Survive. I think it works with 30 for 30s. Like it adds, it tells 100%. You the human story, the team story, without going into stats, plays, etc. And then if you become a fan of whatever sport it is, you probably will want to learn more and more about it and learn why is the driver you like winning or why are they losing. And
it's a point of it's really a point of entry. So that's how we started out. Is that's what they wanted. They were starting this new class. More manufacturers were interested in being involved in it because it was cheaper for them to do it. And the racing was going to be good. They got some good names behind it, and so I mean the storylines. I mean, of course, there are people like if you're a car purist, like you don't want any rules at all, right? And like you want a car that goes in, run what you brung, and but I mean it's not. All right, I would love that too, but that's just not realistic in the world of business and motorsports.
Well, what ends up happening is one or two teams run away with everything, and you end up with a class of 3.
Right.
I
Right. So it sounds good.
In the 50s and 60s, it was less of a thing because the technology gap was not so much. It's just a tube chassis car and a fucking truck motor or whatever you put in that thing.
Right. And also, like, the fact that the most expensive part is a spec piece, right? That they can all they all use, and then it sort of fits with their their electric car future plans a little bit better than just like a straight up V8 motor. In
Did they have? I saw that Porsche had to change out. Did they have to change out the hybrid unit?
Yeah, that was interesting. So both Porsche and BMW had to. I don't know if they were the same. They weren't really the same issue, but they both had to change out the MGU, right? One of the things that the teams can adjust and change is the cooling, right? So it could have been a heat issue.
Gotcha. Okay.
There are this is where it starts getting really nerdy, right? You've got the big pieces. You got the chassis from three or four different chassis builder, Orica, Multimatic. Which one am I forgetting?
Dallara,
of course, Dallara, and maybe that's only 3, but I don't think there's one that nobody used. I can't remember the fourth.
That
one.
Would be a bummer.
I know. Well, they're using it in the lower some of the lower classes. Why am I forgetting? It's probably Italian or it's French. It's French, and it sounds like help me out.
Ligier?
Ligier, right, exactly. And
you know where you see the Ligiers at the private racetracks.
Right.
They sell them to a lot of club racers to fuck around with. I was just at Thermal Club, and I asked the guy at Thermal Club, because I was driving the GT3 RS, and I said, hey, this car is like $325,000. You guy who runs sales here at the track, can you take me to the showroom and show me what else I could buy here for that? And he showed me a brand new in the wrapper Ligier LMP3 car.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, why, if I have a membership here, why do I want that road-based car carrying all that extra weight? And he's like, I don't know, man, you could get in this and drive it over to the track right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, it's sort of interesting. I mean, chassis builders, I don't know how many WEC teams are using Ligier chassis also, so there could be that. It's really, everything is economics, right? Everything is about economies of scale or economies of just sort of the margins that they make on building chassis, right? So if everything's standardized, now you've got four different companies that are all sort of investing in trying to make. So you've got a little bit of the competition to make the best chassis, but you also have the possibility of a better payoff because they have to use them.
So the only team, this post is a year old, but at the time, the only team out of 12 that was using Ligier was one. It was a Slovakian team, ARC Bratislava.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else was using Orica, and that was in the GT and LMP class.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, LMP2 category.
So well,
Bratislava, known for its technological prowess.
Listen, I don't want to shit talk Bratislava. I don't really.
Just sounds like a place I've never been.
Sounds
there.
very sausagey, but I don't know if that's a thing.
It really does. I bet their cased meats.
They're amazing.
Great.
Fucking amazing. But Porsche's using Multimatic and Cadillac and
these different
BMW.
manufacturers are making the same thing. They're the same set of plans, just manufactured by different people.
They're the same. They're a lot of the same dimensions and the same aerodynamic qualities. I don't want to go too deep into the tech. We got to get Bozy on to really talk about that part of it. But it's not like saying these. It has to be exactly this.
Okay.
There's enough variation. So I mean, it is sort of angels dancing on the head of a pin a little bit, but it's like there's enough. If you're an engineer, they're probably much wider.
If you cover them in stickers and pass them by at 100 miles an hour, they look like the same car.
Right, but there's enough. I mean, kind of. They've left an area to do your own branding, right?
Okay.
So the cars look sort of enough. I mean, the Porsche and the Cadillac definitely.
This one on the screen clearly has an Acura nose.
Exactly.
I really get an RDX vibe.
It's 100%. Acura did it, and Cadillac to a certain extent. There's a little art and science in there, like the old
art and science. Yeah.
There's no, but so
art and science, the new STS by Art and Science.
Exactly. But like the Porsche really looks
It's
different.
really about what the shape is of your headlights. I mean, that's kind of though. That 963 right there. You just look at the four little laser headlight things, and you go, "That's a Porsche."
Well, I mean, with Porsche though, there's like the side pods are a little different. Like you have to be a real detail oriented individual.
The Porsche looks a little roundier.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very technical term, roundier.
Wait,
but
I forgot which one. Was it Porsche that they added the top vent, like the top vents? Oddly enough, that vents above the
looks like those vents on the fenders.
Yeah.
are spec also. So there are a couple of elements on there that are spec, but it's not like GTP was in the late '80s, where like there were a bunch of different cars and everybody was doing kind of crazy shit, and like there's like a Jag pulled in like I think it was Walkinshaw was doing like, and there was like a Walkinshaw Porsche. There was like all kinds of crazy shit that was happening. Yeah. There's no economic way, let's say, that will ever happen again.
Yeah, they should just make them carry that spare tire in the trunk in the passenger seat, though, like they used to. Yeah,
I know. I mean,
when you stick your head under a 917 and there's like a spare tire under there, you're like, give me a goddamn break, man. This is so dumb.
Well, some of those things were a little bit like they were conceits of the time, but
well, it did make sense, right? It's a sports car, so it has to be able to. Yeah, sports car must do a couple things. You must have a second passenger.
Well, if you blow a tire out on the Mulsanne,
that actually was functional.
Yeah.
You didn't have a radio being like, "Yo, send the record,
guy,
bro. We're Dunzo." Right. Did they have a radio? When was the in-car radio?
I have no idea. Let's see.
I mean, they certainly didn't have it in the movie Le Mans, right?
No, and I don't think.
But they did have it in Days of Thunder. So sometime between 69 and 89.
NASCAR, it says they got added in the 70s.
Okay. But those are closer. Those are within an oval, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
I suppose they had the range, right? Like planes had it, and
at
some
of course
point.
you could do it.
Two-way communication was used in 1949 at Le Mans.
Get the fuck out of here.
But I'm wondering if that's for race control or for teams.
Not to the cars. I mean, look at those pictures of fucking Sterling Moss getting out of the car.
Radio's first application during a race came from Peter Clark, who in 1948 equipped his HRG with a bi-directional radio for 24 hours of Spa.
Wow.
Huh. And then Peter Clark. Second year
Peter Clark.
From a driver.
Probably a fucking radio. It was probably a
Tune in. Hello. Paddock.
These frogs are really getting to me over here.
Wow.
These the tiny little.
They were weak in the war, but they're strong out here, boys. Yeah, that would be. It's an interesting thing because we've read those stories of like 70s racing at the Nürburgring, and the story is just someone had an accident, they pulled off to the side. After repairing their car, they returned to the pit, and you want the details of how did they fix that car?
Yeah.
But I guess they had the toolkit or a spare tire or just hammered something out. I don't know.
Wasn't
kind
there
of
a race? I want to say it might have been 24 hours of Nürburgring. There was a race recently, and by that I mean the last 3 or 4 years. And in the rule book, the team was allowed to the team couldn't go onto the track. The driver had to fix the car on the track on the side, but the team could pass him tools through the fence.
That might have been. Was that Nürburgring?
I think it was Nürburgring because I remember he tried for an hour to fix it but couldn't fix it.
Right.
And then there was that picture of him hugging the team and crying
because he couldn't.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I know
right?
exactly what you're talking about. I really feel like it was Nürburgring.
That's where that kind of shit would happen.
I don't remember what.
And
race
they're passing him a torque wrench through the fence. You're like, how is this guy
yelling the torque specs?
And he's not allowed to take his helmet off, so he's got a wrench on the car with his fucking whole helmet on.
Yeah. I wish I knew more.
I wish I was a GTR or somebody but I remember the story. Someone who remembers the story is screaming into their own head right now.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's interesting. I think for me it's interesting because I get to hang out with the whole racing scene, and because I'm not an expert, but I get to talk to Bozy. I get to talk to Andy Lally, who's been racing forever and's got 5 watches from Daytona, and get to hang out with everybody from there. So it's interesting, but what's more interesting is how much work that I've been doing on motorsports stuff and how little I've been doing on like regular car shit. Like, road and track, like everything I've done for road and track, except for the Kurt Cobain van piece.
No, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I enjoyed that.
But everything else is motorsports. I got another motorsportsy thing coming out next. And the one we did before, I guess it wasn't really, it was the McMurtry fan car, but that was fairly motorsportsy.
That's motorsports adjacent.
Yeah.
We watched that video yesterday with Stefan. It's one of the craziest car videos of all time.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
That car.
Did you go see it in person?
I saw it. Well, I had seen it at Festival of Speed.
Oh, did you watch that run?
Yeah.
Oh, in person?
Yeah.
Was it just batshit?
It was absolutely batshit. So that first paragraph was actually just how I remembered it, because we were standing there, and the thing, like, you couldn't see it. It was like there was a dust cloud, and then
Yeah.
it was like, holy fuck, what the hell was that? And everybody, like the oohs and ahs from the crowd, were just like, what the fuck was that?
I think it was it was certainly the first time I'd ever heard of it. Had it ever been run in public before? Or was that the first?
I feel like it had done. It did something, or it was at the Festival of Speed the year before. But I don't think they ran it expecting to get the record. I think this year they ran it for the record. Right?
Yeah.
So Chilton did it, and it beat the last electric car that
which was the prototype, the Volkswagen ID EV. What the fuck was it called?
IDR.
IDR. Yeah.
Which we saw at Pikes Peak. Which again, that was absolutely batshit at Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
But then this thing at Pikes Peak would be. I don't know whether you
does
can run
it
does it have
need
enough
the
battery?
and also. I wonder if the surface at Pikes Peak is smooth enough for the fan to be functional. Because if you hit a bump and the fan loses the grip, I mean, the momentum you have going out of a corner is dead.
The crazy thing about McMurtry is that their main IP is the skirts. Like they didn't want to talk about that at all.
And the skirts is probably what really controls the air pressure underneath, right? It's how good of a seal.
That's the whole game. The skirts are the whole game. Does it have like
hovercraft-like elements?
It's a reverse hovercraft. It's a
right. But does it have like the hovercraft is on that curtain?
So you're saying is the skirt soft or is it?
Yeah, that's kind of
hard carbon.
They wouldn't talk about it. So because that's really their IP, right? So whatever they've done, because in the past,
can we get a picture of it?
Take a look.
Stopped so we can see what the skirt. If you can see the skirts, what they look like.
Well, the original. So there was the original. Here we go.
It's kind of shadowed out.
So it's carbon there, but I'm sure
carbon,
inboard.
But it's what's underneath that.
Right.
It's what's creating the seal.
Yeah. Look at how about the lower photo there, up one from that, where it's kind of like the camera's sitting on the ground.
See it a little bit, but it's nothing really.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Alfa Romeo that they ran in 1978 was like a crude device compared to this, but it really worked. Right, they had that one big fan in the back.
Wait, what? You mean like the Brabham?
The Brabham one, the Brabham fan car.
Oh, that was an Alfa Romeo.
That was an Alfa Romeo. That's why they were able to do. So that was a flat 12. That was a flat 12. And they put the fan on top of it, and they said that the fan was just for cooling.
Oh, right.
Because they had the room on top of the flat. Because they were like, this was when, I guess it was what else? The Lotus. 79, 78.
I don't know. Whatever.
Well, there was Lotus.
Cars looked weird as fuck. That's what I can tell you.
Wasn't this Gordon Murray? Did he do the fan car with Alfa?
Gordon Murray.
First one?
He didn't do the Brabham one.
Did he do the Brabham one?
Yeah.
Gordon Murray did?
He did, right?
No, wait a minute. Gordon Murray did the Brabham.
He did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's who he worked for before he went to McLaren for
okay.
F1.
I don't know why I blanked out.
And they ran one race?
They ran one race, and then they banned it because it was like.
It was seconds. It was the lead was just ridiculous.
It was incredible.
Oh, was the Brabham Formula One fan car before the Can-Am?
No, the Can-Am was first. So that
was. I was thinking of the Can-Am one, not the Formula One. That's why I said.
That was. Oh my God! Why am I forgetting?
Lola Chaparral.
Chaparral. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, Chaparral. Right. So Jim Hall.
Yeah. That was first.
That was the first one, and they had an even more sort of. They had a.
It was like a wedge. That thing came.
Can you imagine showing up? This has a fan on the back. It looks like a jet fighter, like a huge turbine, and they're like, no, it cools the engine. Like, get the fuck out of here.
They put the garbage. They put a garbage can lid on the back so nobody would see it, and they would be like,
use the bin lid.
That car looks like it has actual skirts that hang down. If you look at that side profile, like something's hanging down there.
Yeah.
See, like
you can see it.
It has to some sort of rubber skirt.
That has like an actual hovercraft. Thing.
And it had a cool little device where if it hit any debris, it would. I don't know if it would push it out of the way. I was like,
like a train,
like some
like
sort of thing.
Well,
it had holes in it, so the air went through it.
Yeah.
And had a bag behind it, so when the air,
like a
when
pool
the air filled
skimmer?
the bag.
Oh, a bag behind it.
No, a bag behind it, so that it when the pressure regulated, it would.
I think Gordon talked about that on his appearance
did.
on the show. Like, not to plug our own stuff, but when he was on it, he explains it. I think it was with us. It was a pretty complicated system, as you'd expect. But, like, genius, which also you expect. And that's why it was so far ahead, and that's why it got banned immediately.
Yeah. And Chaparral, too. I mean, Chaparral, the original. So, and it's always. It's funny because this car,
this is the one I was thinking of. It's one of the ugliest race cars of all time, but it looks insane.
Yeah.
I mean, these skirts are very visible.
That looks like it actually is jet powered.
Well,
they just nailed like rubber skirts to the side of this.
You know, like the Alpha ran off the motor. This ran off of a separate motor. It was like a two-stroke, like a snowmobile motor or something.
And it's so funny. Look at what I imagine are pieces of Lexan, because it says Lexan on the side of the car, just vertically mounted.
Right.
Like no angle, just straight vertical.
Except that it did have cables that allowed it
they
to
could change
move
angles
with the suspension.
Oh, okay.
Well, right. So as it leaned, let's say to the right, the skirt would lift slightly, right? So you wouldn't damage it.
Exactly, because the way they hooked up the cables
to the steering
to the
joints?
uprights, I think, or somehow.
Yeah. But you look at it, and the shape is strange. But that's because it doesn't need to make downforce with the shape of the car. So it looks like a fucking refrigerator on the side.
Yeah.
The front has some scoop to it.
Right.
But it's because it's making all the downforce just using the actual suction.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's such a weird.
And it's amazing because it makes 100% of its downforce at
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the.
I wonder if we can hear it.
That's the thing. It's like you don't. You can take. The thing about downforce in an F1 car is, on a high-speed corners you're great, low-speed corners not so great,
right.
and mid-speed corners also not so great. This thing, you've got all the downforce basically all the time.
Same with the McMurtry. That's why the 060 is 1.7 or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder if this.
I wonder how. Oh, this is it.
The sound of the Chaparral car.
It just sounds like a race car running. You don't really hear the fan, at least not at this moment. Let's see if we get it. Oh. Is the run actually here? No. I don't hear the fans. I just
sounds
hear.
like an idling V8.
Oh, there's the fans.
There's the fan.
Oh, the fans sound like like you're fucking got a snowmobile at Red Line.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh man, it just
that's what it is, because that's exactly what it is. It's a snowmobile.
It's like
at
a
Red
road
Line.
tax. It just completely changes the sound of the fucking car.
Yeah. There's
That's
a story.
wonky as hell.
I think the Brabham. I think Bernie Ecclestone, right, who owned Brabham at the time. I think the car was stopped and they turned on the fan. And I think it sucked it right onto his foot. I think there was a story where it was like.
I thought you were going to tell me it sucked his toupee off.
Right.
I don't think
like
he
a
had
Leslie
one then.
Nielsen movie. I'd love to see the Bernie Ecclestone story where he is played by Leslie Nielsen.
A skirt would just get sucked under the skirt, like a woman's skirt. Just, and you'd be like, "Ooh,
show me how the skirt works." It's real slapstick.
I'm going to cheat now. You're going to make me cheat
man.
later." Jeez.
Yeah.
Did you watch that show, Lucky? The
no,
documentary?
I meant to, and I forgot.
They made a documentary
The
about
Bernie
Bernie.
documentary.
Oh no, I haven't seen it yet. That's the one by Asif Kapada.
Yeah. Did you
Road
watch it?
produced
Who did
Senna.
Senna?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Did you watch it?
No, I want to.
Oh, I gotta remember to watch that shit.
I wrote it
I
down,
meant
but I
to.
didn't write enough context. When I looked at my list later, I went, "What is this?" And I searched Lucky, and it was some strange movie from Sweden. I was like, "Did I write that down?" Is that what I was going to watch?
Yeah, I got to go watch that one.
Lucky's about Stig Blomqvist. No, I haven't seen it. Although it was one of the, it was one of the bunch of motorsports content that came out after Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
So like,
I wonder if it'll be on. I got to look at Delta and see if they're airing that shit on Delta. That'll be a good thing to kill a couple hours on my next flight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'd love to try to get Win the Weekend on Delta.
How does that happen?
I think there's a guy.
There's probably
a
a guy,
and he goes, "Hey, can you get him on there? Well, how much you got?"
Who is Delta's media buyer? That'd be a good. It's
gotta be.
Be a good gig.
It's a good gig.
It's a good gig. Probably a union gig. I don't know. It's got tenure.
It's what do they call those jobs? It's a no-show job. You just don't.
All right, I got three no-shows. One yes show, no work. What is it?
Yes show.
It was two new. I got 2 new works and 3 no shows. You got to give me 500 on serendipity. You hear?
Serendipity.
I don't know. I was really trying to come up with a horse name and a fly.
And it was excellent. It was good. It worked out. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to cushy media gigs, probably selling media to an airline is probably up there.
There's a person that we both know that has the most cushy media gig in history. He's a very nice guy.
We both know.
Yeah, because he goes on press launches. And he goes on, but only for really expensive cars.
Right.
Like he ain't on the new Camry launch. He's on the Phantom launch.
Of course.
And he gets, he writes about the private jet that he gets to go there.
Right.
He reviews hotels and jets and.
See, that's how you do it. If you're gonna do it,
I don't even think he has a home.
That's the thing is the way that we've been doing it all wrong. Like
actually giving an opinion about something and not just saying how everything is great all the time.
No, yeah, because think of how much shit that you could write about for different publications when you're on a car launch. Like the helicopter, the hotel, like you're at. You
could triple dip any of those trips.
And, I mean, a lot of people do. Like, you've got like a luxury brand, a luxury magazine over here. You've got a business magazine. You can write about the business side of the thing.
Yeah.
You basically use every part of the buffalo, and that's how you make it as a freelancer, right? You're like that old thing that we used to say. Your next article is not going to write this article.
Your email signature for a while, and it haunted the shit out of me for years.
But
I used that phrase yesterday.
Really?
Literally yesterday.
Well, it's so terrifying.
I know.
Your next article.
Everything you've done so far, that doesn't matter.
Your next article is not. This article is not going to write your next article for you.
Yeah.
However that goes.
Yeah.
But for some people, you can walk out of a expensive car launch with a food review of if you've got enough editor contacts in that world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, these are the best scallops
One
I've
of the
ever
guys
had.
I went on the Dakar launch with said he was writing 4 stories on it.
Yeah,
like, you're going to write 4 stories on one car? Good fucking luck.
I mean,
imagine how fucking shot your brain is by the trying to figure out what to say on story number 4.
Oh my God. Oh well, if it's just about the car,
just the car,
I can't imagine. I've done 2.
Oh, I regularly do Smoking Tire and Road and Track.
Right, sure.
All the time.
I mean, when I was really freelancing, in between, this was right before the drive, or right before drive. Yeah, kind of right before that. I was doing a little bit of Popular Science, and I was doing Maxim. I was doing some Jalopnik shit still, and some other stuff. And then, it would be like 3 or 4.
It's like 2010-ish.
09, 10.
Yeah.
8 to 10.
I just don't.
It's 0 to 60 at the same time.
Even when I do a video and column, I find it hard to not use some of the exact same phrasing or metaphors and stuff.
Tough.
And
yeah, it's tough.
I can't imagine by story number 4.
I mean, it's easier if they're different kinds. Like Popular Science and Maxim are different stories.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And but Jalopnik and I don't think I ever double dipped in automotive. I think I own like if I was doing an automotive piece, it was only for Jalopnik. It was only for 0 to 60.
That's probably a good strategy.
Yeah, because it's also, I don't know. It's not like it's shady. It's just that it's hard to do It's really hard to get.
If you've got the Maxim and like Business Insider,
right?
And
exactly.
Popular Mechanics.
I think I was writing a little bit for Ink.
Yeah, it's like a good spread. Yeah, because there's you could actually take different angles.
Right, because you'd go to like Wolfsburg, right?
Yeah.
And then there'd be a business story, so you could do a little bit business thing.
What's Wolfsburg like? You been to Wolfsburg? Actually,
yeah.
Did you just make that
cool.
up? Or?
No,
I know it's a real place, but did you make?
Yeah,
did you just pretend like you've been there? Or you were there?
There was. I haven't been there in years, but I went like 3 or 4 times within that span of 08 to
Is it nice?
12. Yeah, it's real nice.
Is it?
Yeah. There were some running trails. There's like a cool there's the old factory, and then they built this big, crazy museum there that's really cool. Auto something. Can't remember. I honestly haven't been there forever. And I bought on the other side of the bridge. If you keep walking, there's a. This is so stupid. There's an outlet shop, like an outlet stores.
Yeah.
Like, what's the one upstate? Like
the Tanger outlets.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There's the German version of the Tanger outlets on the other side.
I know what they have there.
And I bought a blazer that I still have.
Okay, I thought it was going to buy something way more dumb than German.
No, it's just a.
Do you look like you are a Volkswagen Germany employee when you're there?
Dark
it's
blue,
a very
dark
slim
gray,
fit.
that's about it.
Tweed.
No, this is straight blue
Okay.
gabardine.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and then but if you wear a nicely tailored white shirt underneath it, you can kind of.
Very German.
Yeah, I'm way fat to be German though. That's the problem. Like a German executive because they're very svelte. It's like they are all
tough to be around them.
It's tough to be around them. It's like they're all like
real uncomfortable.
Yeah, like where are you running to next? Like, it's like everybody's
cyclists.
They're all cyclists.
They all do road cycling. Yeah.
It's like well, I'm doing some cycling. I'm like, that's great. Where are you going? Well,
to go
Spain,
up to Swiss Alps.
Exactly.
Yes. What do you mean? All of them?
All of the Alps.
We do 6-7 peaks a day.
Yeah. Also, no problem.
Very fast.
The office is at the top of the mountain, so I walk up in the morning and like Gene, not like Gene, like
Gunther Steiner.
Yeah.
Gunther.
Gene puts my paycheck up at the top of the mountain.
Gene, hello, Gene. Oh, Gene.
Oh, you see what happened to them today?
Yes, Gene.
Yes, Gene. It just fucked. Yes.
I just started watching this season, so.
You know what's gonna happen.
But it's Gene. Ask Gene. Well, we're doing the best.
No. Yesterday, they got accused of violating sanctions and doing deals with a Russian arms industry.
HAAS did?
Wow. Check, please.
HAAS did.
Sweet.
Huh.
Gene, listen, Gene.
Hello.
I said no more fucking Russians, Gene.
knows the fucking Russians, Gene.
That quote.
That was.
Did you get to that yet?
I did get to that.
God, I think it's in the.
It's in the first episode, I think.
I forget. It might have even been the trailer. I think it was in the trailer. I mean, if I'm fucking Netflix,
I think it was. I think you're right.
If I'm Netflix, that's going in the trailer.
It's going in the
for
trailer.
Sure.
It's got to be.
This guy going
Russians.
fucking Russians.
Fucking Russians.
HAAS breaks sanctions, sell machines to Russian arms manufacturers. Well, look, I mean, someone's got to pay for this shit.
And they're not winning.
You're gonna you're gonna take my goddamn entry fees, and then you're gonna complain about where they come from.
I mean, if they're not going to do top 7, right? Where do the bonuses end? 4,
I'm
5,
paying
6?
to enter, and you're keeping the points over here.
Kevin, we really need you to try this week because we got caught doing the sanctions thing. So we could really
I went
use a
down
win.
to we went down to HRE to pick up my wheels.
Yeah,
made in right here in California. They have their whole factory is HAAS automation.
Oh wow!
All their machines,
all their stuff.
They have the biggest factory. I mean, you can imagine to make wheels.
Wow,
huge.
Who owns HRE now? Is that Wheel Pros?
No. HRE is they're independent.
Because Wheel Pros is buying everybody.
They own a lot of companies, but HRE is independent.
Yes, including they just bought. Oh well, I mean Hoonigan, right? I mean they're.
Wheel Pros,
Wheel Pros.
Yeah.
I mean, but like the amount of things that
there's a lot going. Hoonigan is not a major player in the Wheel Pros universe.
No, of course, right, exactly. They're real wheel. I mean, there's a lot of wheels being sold.
And and it's more than just wheels. There's a bunch of businesses under that umbrella that have nothing to do with wheels. But
I mean, aftermarket in general.
It's like half of fucking SEMA.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but the HRE's, God, they're awesome. I love those wheels.
I mean, they're cool.
But they have mad HAAS automation happening down there.
There you go. I mean,
at off hours, they fucking spin the machine around and prints a gun out the back.
Hello,
They
Gene.
sell them to the Russians.
Gene, I got we were trying to make a splitter, and we got a gun.
Gene, we put in the file and we got an AK-47.
What is this?
What can we? Oh wait, I guess we could take the trophy with this finally. But Jesus,
I think this is extreme, Gene. I don't know.
it's a bit too American for me,
Extreme
Gene.
measures, yeah. It's a bit too American.
It's funny
That's
that
weird.
dude lives in North Carolina, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes.
I mean,
I guess it makes sense, but
Yeah, he's been part of that scene for a long time.
you know who I'm happy for is what's his name? The Ferrari guy with the fucking David Byrne hair.
Oh, yeah.
Who got fired?
Yeah. Why am I forgetting? Matteo.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
Why am I?
I don't know. I don't know why you're forgetting. But we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
the
with that
Ferrari
guy.
team principal,
Binotto.
Yeah,
Binotto, Mattia Binotto. Yeah.
Mattia Binotto. But like, did you in the I think first or second episode of the show, he's driving a little Fiat 500 to his
with Gunther, yeah.
to his fucking vineyard. That guy is chilling.
Yeah, he has life figured out.
Yeah. Why he goes to work every day? I mean, why even bother? It looks like you got it.
Well, but I mean, if you're Italian, Ferrari is the greatest brand your company's
That's true,
ever,
yeah.
your country's ever made.
True.
So you're like, I get to run the F1 team and make wine. I mean,
Yeah, good
you're the
point.
coolest Italian in the world.
Yeah.
Basically, all you got to do is have like a sausage works, or like it's like the next, not like a.
No,
I mean,
you
like
need a prosciutto cake.
you need
Prosciutto
that.
cake,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or like a supersada or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
same cave.
What am I? A same
A
cave.
cheese castle, like in
Put it all
Parma.
in the same
cave, dude. They hang, the sorpresada's over here.
Yeah,
the
you
speck
got
is
your-
over here. The prosciutto's over here.
Forgetting the.
But Italy likes to
oh,
separate them by region. Like, no. This is the ham area, and this is the bologna
ham
area,
area.
and this is the thing. You just ate lunch, Mike. We were there.
I know.
And you're talking as if we didn't feed you. You're
I
like,
know, it's-
sausage, German sausage, Bratislavan
Italian
sausage.
Did you say ham area?
I did say sausagey also
You said
before.
sausagey, Bratislava. It made you think about
Oh
food.
yeah.
Next time, more pork with lunch.
I guess. It's on Mike's
Mortadella.
rider.
That's the one
the
I was thinking.
mortadella.
Mortadella.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the
I don't even know if they
Italian
have
bologna.
that in Italy. I think that's in
they
New
do.
Jersey.
No, I know. Well, they had, it's like,
Seems
I'm going to
like
mortadella, and then of course, they pile it. It's like 2 pounds between, a Kaiser roll.
Yeah,
That's
what
not
you
how
need is you need the pork should be Italian, and then the guy assembling it should be Jewish.
Exactly.
And then you
Now
get
we're-
like an 18-inch vertical sandwich that's just
you get a
meat and mustard.
Stage deli, right? You get, or the, oh my God.
36 pounds of meat and
finally.
a schmear. Nothing else.
That's it.
That's all you get.
I mean, finally, you can go to like the Stage or the Carnegie Deli or Katz's and get you order one sandwich and you order extra bread.
Yeah.
And you can like
What
split the
Jewish
sandwich.
delis are still open in the city?
Well, Katz's is still there.
there.
Carnegie's gone. Stage is gone. Wait a minute. Is Second Street? Is Second Avenue Deli
No,
gone?
that's Dunzo. Yeah. Have you seen the documentary
Ben's
on
is
Jewish
not a real.
delis?
Oh no.
I recommend it. It's as most documentaries based on things Jewish are. It's a sad story. The decline of the Jewish deli because they're so goddamn good.
Yeah, they're so goddamn good.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like, who wouldn't want this to be in their neighborhood? Who wouldn't want to support this thing? Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
man?
we grew up on. You walk in, they put the big bowl of pickles down on the table. You
They
get
were
the
his
giant
pickles
fries.
before.
They were his
They
pickles, but
just rinsed-
doesn't. But you don't care. It doesn't matter.
I
They
eat
rinse
them shits anyway,
You rinse
bro.
them with brine, and it's
the
fine.
brine kills the bacteria.
Brine kills the bacteria, of course.
COVID almost killed the deli pickle, but no, survives.
But the stainless steel bowl of pickles. I mean, where do you get a stainless steel bowl of pickles these days?
At my house these days.
See, at your house.
Yes. I always got a big jar, and I got stainless. I'm ready. I
That's
sling
like
them
a black
across.
market Jewish deli. You got to go to someone's house.
Someone's house.
Actually, LA has a couple of very solid Jewish delis.
I was thinking of going to it starts with an L.
Hell, I don't know.
Nate
There's
Now's.
Froman's in Santa Monica.
That's
There's
not the-
Nate and
what's-
Al's.
Oh, Nate and Al's. I've heard of that.
Yeah, Nate and Al's is a classic.
I passed that on the way back last time, but no, the one in is it in
Leibovitz.
Hollywood?
Lubavitch.
No.
I don't know.
Lenders.
I don't know. I'm probably missing the other one.
Wait, Cantors?
Cantors.
Oh, Cantors, yeah.
Not an L at all. It's a K.
Cantors is excellent.
actually a C,
I went to
but
Cantors
still
recently.
Is it a
Yeah.
It's open 24 hours a day, I think, right?
Cantors?
Yeah,
right,
and
of
it
course.
has a parking lot.
See, now I'm glad Johnny's
got its
not
own
here
lot.
because Johnny would be punching me in the head.
Probably.
Because we've been supposing to go to Cantor's since I met him 17 years ago.
You want to cancel our reservation for Thursday and go to Cantor's instead?
Listen, I would.
I'll have a tuna fish sandwich.
Sandwich? Is that a...
Yeah. Tuna salad sandwich at a Jewish deli?
Of course.
It's good, yeah. Tuna salad, egg salad. Well, they got a good latke over there.
Oh, man. But even like the bad delis like Epstein's in
That's bad for
Hartsdale.
different reasons.
Well, no, not that.
Not that
Epstein's Deli. No, but like in Westchester, right? Like there was Epstein's Deli in Hartsdale, which was just as good as like the best. Well, it's like it was 90% of Katz's.
Yeah. And the Rye Ridge Deli also.
Rye Ridge Deli.
They got in a little over their skis after a while, and it kind of zhuzhed it up, and it just leave it the fucking way it is.
You can't zhuzh it up. No. It's got to be the bowl of pickles.
I need that clear glass deli counter from 1986, please.
With the fake fruit? Yes.
Don't touch
that. Don't touch that. And then the giant fries and the pastrami. Why are the fries so big?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Listen,
because it's probably some optical illusion where if the fry itself is bigger, there's more air in between the fries, and so they can give you 0.6 ounces less fry with each.
Somebody's son who went to Baruch figured that out.
Jimmy just got an accounting degree. Guess what I learned?
Oh my God! This you know how many the tonnage we could save.
You should say the tonnage. The
tonnage. It's all about the tonnage, Zach.
Yeah, but you should. That documentary is kind of sad. The number they have a map nationally because like there were so few to begin with that you could have a map of America. And you could see individual pins.
We knew where they all were, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
We knew where every single one of them
Somebody cataloged them.
Well, you could really keep track.
I wonder who it was. Oh, shit.
But anyway.
Well, I mean, so.
We need more.
All right, New York, L.A.
No, I mean, and there's.
St. Louis.
Yeah, Miami. There's a bunch. There's a smattering, but like. You know how when a cell phone company they do the map of America,
right?
And they go, "We're expanding service," right? This is that map where you drag the cursor the other way.
We're reducing
coverage of pastrami.
It's also that people just don't eat like that anymore. Like, do you remember? Do you know the other part of another part of the Jewish cuisine experience is the dairy, right? The dairy restaurants. Right, with the blintzes and sour cream with the fruit and all that, the whole dairy. People just don't eat like that anymore.
That's true.
So it's not.
They have not updated their menu.
I haven't really updated the menu.
You know who updated their menu? Benihana.
Did they?
Not where I bet you thought I was going to say.
No.
I went to Benihana recently because So, Hannah got me the Benihana cooking class for my birthday a couple years ago.
Right.
Which I cannot recommend highly enough. Everybody should do it.
Then you learn to flip the
shrimp. The fucking shrimp. Make the onion volcano. You also learn how to make Benihana food at home.
Amazing.
And it's shockingly easy. Okay.
And isn't that Rocky Aoki? Isn't that the DJ's
Steve Aoki's father?
Steve Aoki's father.
Yeah. But like you go and you go at lunchtime and you learn everything. You make it, and then you have lunch because you're there and you've made the food, right?
Might as well.
And then you get to come back that night and you cook for your friends.
It's cool. Your friends, really
cool.
fun.
That's a cool gift.
Yeah. And when I tried to make the onion volcano in front of my friends, I almost fucking lit my face on fire.
I remember that.
Actually, it was great. So now I make it at home.
But you put too much oil? Is that what happened?
No, I just
you made the jets too tight, so it actually
I
started to whistle.
It's like in the plane when you move the angle of
the valence or whatever that is.
It was arrowed back at me a little bit.
They call it a 737 MAX.
So it actually the restaurant took off downward. Right?
So anyway, I like making Benihana at home now.
Sure.
But I hadn't been back since I got the class because I can make the shit at home.
Of course. Why go?
So I went back with my friend who really wanted to go. And they have changed their menu. And they've added things, and you get sushi rolls there now.
Oh, of course.
And they've changed, instead of saying like hibachi steak and shrimp, that dish is now called the Happy Ninja. They've renamed And
They're getting
it's
fancy.
like Starbucks turning a large into a venti.
Right.
So I go, yeah, hibachi steak and shrimp, please. And she goes, you mean the Happy Ninja? And I go,
Stop
what?
it. Stop that.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Stop it now.
You know, and Benihana's menu used to be like this.
Yeah.
It was like there was 5.
You want steak?
Yeah.
You want shrimp?
Right.
You want steak and shrimp, or do you want chicken?
You can now like order whole separate things that aren't even hibachi dining.
It's the sushi complex. Like it's big sushi, right? I don't know where the
It's big tuna.
It's big tuna. What the fuck is going on with sushi? You can get sushi
Big
everywhere.
Sushi sounds like the name of a sushi restaurant outside Cleveland.
You want to go to Big Sushi? Okay.
You got a ball pit. Yeah, the kids have something to do.
It's a fish
fun.
pit.
You
It's
can
a
get
dead
good
fish pit.
They have a
You
good
just dive
burger.
into the fish pit.
I mean, but the whole idea, sushi must be a real high margin item. Like at this point, where you can just pay somebody. I mean, how many people are being churned out every year by Big Sushi? Like who can like make a sushi
I think
roll?
sushi
Like almost
is
anybody
a very high
can.
margin item.
Must be because
most of it you don't need to heat anything.
Right. And the availability of the fish must be like ridiculous now. Like you can get sushi grade.
Well, they can just sell you something you don't know what
It's just frozen and then you defrost it.
There's got to be a big difference between passable and
sure.
Great.
Yeah, but we've got janky hibachi places like all over the place now that have sushi. Like you can get a rainbow roll basically in like 17 different kinds of places.
That shit is shipped out frozen for sure.
I guess it's got to be, especially
if you're in the Midwest, you got to go to a place where it's like $250 a person, and the guy's flying in their fucking fish on net jets.
Right. Literally net jets.
Literally, yeah. There's like a NetJets cargo flight. For this. Like if I was NetJets, I would have, air sushi. And I'd run a little cargo service and fly high-end sushi to smaller markets.
It'd be NetJets.
Are they doing that?
Like a fishing net painted on the side like Alaskan Airlines.
You don't even have to change the name.
Of course.
Same name.
Fishing NetJets.
Fishing NetJets.
Yes.
But there's a
Clapman.
Just troll behind the plane. Just pick up fish.
Just pick it up, whatever.
You show up and there's a bunch of dead birds
and dolphins and stuff. Yeah. What do they call that stuff? Like the
dolphin-free tuna.
Or like one of those
Unintended
planes one of those planes and helicopters that dumps those big vats of water on fires.
Yeah.
Just the belly scoop it up and then
just drop it in Nevada.
Well, wait a minute. There's a book there's a book about sushi that has the entire supply chain in it, and it's it's supposed to be really, really good.
Oh, tell me it's by like Mary
like the guy
Roach.
that did Salt. The history of salt.
Yeah. I read
something
that
like that. I forgot.
Have you read like Mary Roach stuff? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but
She did like Packing for Mars, which is about the mundane stuff of space travel.
Yeah, where do you poop in space?
Yeah,
and all that stuff,
and then there's one I think it's called Grunt. That is about.
Is that an acronym?
But it's about all the things about war and soldiers that aren't killing people.
Or military. Yeah,
it's like, how do you keep the soldiers from getting dysentery? Like, socks and just like crazy shit like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, Mary Roach stuff is like really interesting.
Yeah.
There
it is, the sushi economy. And it's not by the
globalization.
Yeah.
The
making of a modern delicacy.
2008,
Sasha Issenberg. So that's definitely not the person who did the Salt book, I don't think.
I don't. Is it
I didn't know if you were saying it was the same person or
but
if it's just similar.
Similar thing. I thought it was the same person, but I'm probably
the Salt book was really interesting. Carl got me that one, and also if you want to read some crazy food books, What Einstein Told His Cook is a great one. Also a Carl Ruiz recommendation. Yeah. Speaking of books, last episode, before I forget, Zach and I were talking about company towns.
Oh, cool.
Because Elon Musk wants to start a company town and doesn't seem to realize why that's a terrible idea.
Right, and I saw the book Fordlandia on your desk.
I forgot to. My brain farted and I didn't think of Fordlandia, which was Zach Ford had a company town.
Yeah.
That's
a fascinating fucking book.
Yeah, and I had already ordered the book. Like the book showed up today. I ordered it like 4 days ago. And we were talking about on the podcast company towns, and I completely forgot that I had already ordered this book. I've not read it.
Yeah.
But apparently they tried to start a company town in Brazil.
Yeah,
And it probably went fucking well.
It did not go well, but it was really ambitious. I mean, the ambition of the Fords. I mean, honestly, the thing about Henry Ford is like you realize like what a social engineer he wanted to be.
He was a psycho.
Well, yeah, he was. All right, maybe I'm being nice, but social engineering has a kind of a negative connotation.
When you're putting out publications like The American Jew.
Just that eugenics.
Nothing bad about that.
Yeah, there's not a. But that it's sort of like he had almost.
I like this paragraph in the summary. More than a parable of one man's arrogant attempt to force his will on the natural world.
Wow, that's just the beginning of the sentence. That's not even the whole sentence.
That's the first half. Fordlandia depicts a desperate quest to salvage the bygone America that the Ford factory system did much to dispatch.
Could you imagine?
Wow, who wrote that?
That's an amazing sentence. Also,
that's a fucking great sentence.
Also, who thought that 1927 was the end? Like, and you're like, make America great again. When? 1830. You know, it's like. Fuck.
I bet you they had fucking their MAGA.
Everybody had. Well, they in the 20s they definitely had.
Because they had stated Jim Crow.
Yeah, I mean the 20s was a whole.
I don't
other
mean to laugh at that, but like that's what happened.
That's what happened. The 20s, but that's so funny. Is like you go, oh, things were better 50 years ago. Okay, well, 50 years ago, and then 50 years before that, and 50 years before that,
and then what happened 2 years
later? He really missed
later?
Horses. He's like, I really missed horses.
Yeah, wow.
I mean,
I'm excited to read this. I'll probably blast through it.
It's I think there were parts of it. It's sort of it gets in the weeds a little bit. I mean, like literally in the weeds because there's like so many fucking weeds, right? Exactly. When you think about what they had to do to turn the Amazon into, like a Midwestern neighborhood.
Oh man,
it's really interesting stuff though. But
this whole summary is amazing. On what Fordlandia, as the settlement was called, became the site of an epic clash. On one side was the car magnate, lean austere, the man who reduced industrial production to his simplest motions. On the other, the Amazon, lush, extravagant, the most complex ecological system on the planet. Ford's early success in imposing time clocks and square dances in the jungle soon collapsed as indigenous workers, rejecting his Midwestern Puritanism, turned the place into a ribald tropical boomtown.
Yes, ribald.
What is ribald even mean? I don't even know that word.
Rip-roaring, kind of like sexually charged, quite...
That time clocks and square dances thing, have you ever heard of... The Resnicks, do you know who they are?
The Resnicks.
They're the Palm Wonderful people.
Oh shit!
And they own
Fiji water.
They own Fiji water and all these nuts. They grow
macadamias.
They grow almonds and what's the other one? Not
Brazil
cashews,
nuts?
But Jesus Christ,
peanuts.
The pistachios,
oh,
almonds and pistachios, which are like the two most water-intensive crops, and their family farm uses more water than the entire city of San Francisco.
And I think like 80% of their almonds get exported out of the country.
Yeah, and they also sell water. But what is kind of ironic.
But what? Is
that ironic or coincidental?
Hypocritical, but also ironic. But this time clocks and square dances. The wife.
Linda
Resnick.
Mrs. Resnick.
She was criticized for unhealthy conditions for their farm workers, and she became obsessed with Zumba, and would have hourly mandatory Zumba breaks for these people where she would blast music in the fields, and these people would have to do Zumba for a few minutes and then go back to picking fucking pistachios.
Wow.
Well,
it all comes down to people who think that they need to civilize a certain bunch of people who are either morally bankrupt or just ignorant and just don't know the real way.
The real way is Jesus. Don't you say
square dancing and Jesus
and time clocks.
Is the difference between a cult leader And whatever this, like we consider Ford here, is it just like billions of dollars? Like if you're rich enough, then it's called social engineering or like planning. But if you have like $100 grand and you just have a compound.
Don't put the word master in front of planning ever. By the way.
I didn't.
Then you're called if you have $1,000 and you have a condo.
But you know what's funny about 100 years ago? But you know what is sort of interesting about 100 years ago is that there was a time when there were a lot of people who were thinking about the ills of society and how to correct them by forcing their will on other people, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of a thing, right? The
Why
idea
does
that
sound familiar.
I mean, and it's funny because it's not like colonialism is that, right? And that was it's not that it was happening before that, but like the idea that, okay, well, we're going to take the thing that works and we're going to force everybody to do it.
Yeah. Christianity.
Well, I mean, there's the missionary position.
Also the Crusades.
Is that what the Crusades were
The
about?
Crusades might
Crusades,
have been that,
the missionary,
maybe.
right? Well, that's true. The Crusades, look, just saying that the idea that there's an iron fist way to make things better that has thankfully kind of gone out of style. But I think some people are feeling like it's time to bring back an iron fist method?
I think when there's times of confusion and uncertainty, people look to the guy who goes, I alone can fix this. And they are usually completely full of shit and narcissists and sociopaths.
Right. Usually. Right. Or
to look at the world and go, I can fix this, that. You have to be a sociopath.
Yeah. Well, you have to at least be high in your own supply. In some way.
And if you're that rich, you got a lot of supply.
Yeah, exactly.
There's excessive supply.
Anyway, how about those cars?
Hey, man, we're talking about Fordlandia.
Oh, yeah.
That's cars.
Sorry. Stick to cars, Matt.
Like my Twitter bio says.
Yeah, I know.
Matt,
that's
stick
so
to cars.
funny.
That's
and
my favorite Twitter bio yet.
It's the greatest.
I love it.
I mean,
I love it.
Matt, stick to cars. Because I mean, when you're talking about anything else, there's always going to be somebody that.
Bro, it's shut up and dribble.
Yeah,
for white professionals. That's what that is.
Wow, it is.
That's my Yeah, that's shut up and dribble for people like me.
Right.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah. What does the old Patreon have to say today, Zach Clapman? Patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast if you want to talk about fucking anything for money. No, it's starting at just $3. Get the show ahead of schedule, watch the live stream, ask us questions to get read on the air, and now the new championship tier, you get our car review videos as well, totally ad-free. No YouTube ads, no host-read ads either.
Wow.
Alrighty then. The Patreon today says, Kenny, is the Lexus LC500 still a great value or yesterday's news?
Ooh, I like that car a lot.
Instant classic.
Yeah.
Classic from the day it was new. Looks fantastic.
Where are they though?
I see them around.
Do you see them around LA?
I don't see them
around in New York.
Yeah.
Much.
They're popular out here.
Yeah.
I would have one dollar for dollar over a Mercedes SL, 100%.
Have you driven? Well, I don't have. See,
we drove the new SL.
I have to ask you everything because I haven't driven almost anything from the last couple of years. So, new SL.
Mercedes press cars are oddly hard to come by. I don't know why that is, but I've gotten some, but I've had trouble. Mm-hmm. We did drive the new SL.
How's that? Because I'm interested in that.
Boy, does it have tech shoved up its ass.
Do you want to be able to drive CES around?
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
It's the South Hall of CES
you're driving the entire,
on four wheels.
Yeah, you're driving the entire.
That could be the best line
center.
I think I've ever heard.
I had we drove it and it was
photo.
It's objectively it drives great, but it's got so much shit in it, and there's so many different ways to do things. There's like 7 different ways to do any one thing, which if you were setting this car up for yourself forever, you'd probably just settle on one way, and then that would become the way before too long. But when you're trying to play with shit as a journalist, there's so much going on in this thing.
You know what's funny about that is like I could totally see how that would benefit the company is if they were able to find out which was the way that most of their buyers set it up. Mm-hmm. Then they could say, it's almost like market research on the fly.
Yeah.
If they could pull data from that.
Which they probably can. That's a
There
good point.
are very few physical buttons, as you can see by this photo.
Yeah.
The
I like
top
the vents,
mechanism
though. I do like the
is on the
vents.
touch screen, which is not good.
The top mechanism is on the touch screen.
But it's not just that you hit the touchscreen once. You have to slide and hold your finger on your tablet to close and open the top. So if the top takes 15 seconds, you have to sit there
It's weird.
and hold it in the right spot. And if you slip off, it stops
And then
in the
those
middle. It's
two
very dumb.
round knobs on the lower 1/3 and 2/3 of the steering wheel at the 4 and 8 position.
Sure.
Those knobs,
Like Porsche does.
yeah, but those knobs have LCD screens on them.
Oh.
And there's 2 buttons on either side of the knobs. The top button changes the function of what the knob does. Each of those knobs can have 4 separate functions. You then spin the knob to scroll through the function to the one you want. You select it, and then there's another button. So each of those knobs, the one on the left, that knob can do 2 things at once, but each of those
is programmable.
Is 4 options.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can just there's a whole other way to do that through the screen.
Do you know what's interesting about that is if it's a car you're driving every day, I can see how that would eventually evolve.
Yeah.
But if this is your 4th car,
You'd never figure out how to use it.
you may never figure out how to do, or you would just settle on whatever the first thing is in there.
Probably.
I just looked up what the average age of a Mercedes-Benz buyer was, and this market watch is from 8 years ago. So hopefully it's changed, because the average then was 54 years old. So you got to imagine the number of people buying SLs.
That's younger
If
by
they're
the
The
Yeah,
average
65.
Mercedes SL buyer is over 54 for sure.
So you have hey, Grandpa, here's 14 screens. Some are on the steering wheel. You have to hit them to change these functions. Most people may not mess with these, but we found it very annoying to try to operate, some of the things that we want to control.
Yeah, but the average age of a Scion buyer was 56. So, I think all car buyers end up skewing kind of old.
Different.
So funny. Could you imagine a different 56-year-old? But
One of these was at Woodstock, which
one of these is bringing home a lot of shit from the plant sale.
Yeah. But to go back, Ketty, or go back to the LC500 is superior.
Yeah, timeless.
I wish I could drive that thing more.
And also, what's in Spinelli's garage these days?
My garage
Did you
is
enjoy the
pitiful.
Jaguar?
It's really just the Jag. It's just the Jag, and the Jag needs brakes, and I've just been too busy to deal with it. It's just sitting.
Can't someone just handle that for you?
I got to get somebody.
You're a famous motoring journalist.
Well, I just have to get off my ass and do it.
Can't you just send it over to Figliola or something, and they'll do it?
Yes, Figliola should do it. Yeah. Or one of those guys. That's
Call
Garbo. That's not mine.
Tell him you want Figliola to do it and Garbo to video it, and then you just have a little roundy round there. That's an AI design joke.
I got to
sorry.
do. Yeah, I got to do better at taking advantage of my position.
Are you just not using it when you're home, or are you driving it every day and it's fucked?
No, I'm not driving it at all.
So when you're home,
it's sitting.
You're still in New Rochelle?
Still in New Rochelle.
So you just don't drive? What do you do?
I work from home. And I write stuff, and I barely leave the house. And when I leave the house,
it's not like New Rochelle is like a real walking town.
No, but when I go to the city, I just jump in an Uber and I go to the train station and I'm in the city. You know what I mean? It's when the springtime comes soon and I get the Jag back on the road, then it'll be great. But then I'm going to sell it. I am going to sell it.
Okay.
But I don't know what to get. We talked about this last year, and I don't want to belabor this because it never happened. You know what I mean? I was going to do it this past year, but I just got too busy. But I am going to, I think it's time, but I got to do some work to it.
I mean, you've had it for 7 years?
I've had it for 7 years. I can't believe how long. And it's been great. I put 25,000 miles on it. It needs brakes because it was
That's
sitting.
more miles than I would have thought. How many miles are on it now?
50-ish.
Oh.
I had 25-ish when I bought it.
Uh-huh. And
So
what
it's
does it
close to
cost
50.
you to do 25,000 miles in a Jaguar XJR?
$18,000. No, I'm kidding.
Is it?
In maintenance?
No. Maintenance.
Maybe 18 grand, including the car.
No, maintenance is. I mean, I over the years I've always put in about $2,500 a year.
Okay, so yeah, not nothing.
I'm just doing stuff.
Not
nothing. Yeah, but not a whole lot. And you what I mean?
Are
I've
parts
just done,
expensive for it?
I've been able to get around the expensive parts, like for modules. Like I had 2 modules that I needed rebuilt. I got those done. There's a guy on the forum that takes them in, and he just redoes the boards and puts them back together, and they're great. And it's like a couple $100. So that's not the problem. I had the one module that cost a lot because I couldn't do it. I had to bring it to a guy, and it was because it's the same transmission as the Mercedes. It's the 722
the 5-speed?
5-speed.
Yeah,
right.
that the Mercedes used forever.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's
that's
like in the R129 and the S-Class and all that shit. Yeah,
and it's great. But the module went, so I had to get that. I had to pay for that module, so that was expensive.
Okay.
I did the shocks. Shocks aren't expensive. Over the years, it's like every year is something. I really, really want to do the bushings because once the bushings are done, then it'll be.
It's an 01?
It's an 02.
Yeah, you're getting to bushings. Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I mean, I don't know, but the brakes, it's got those giant Brembos. So the problem is I've needed brakes, but I couldn't get them last year because the supply chain shit.
You just
nobody didn't have those brakes because there aren't that. I forgot
sucks.
which. So anyway, now it's
not being able to get brakes is
that's a pain in the ass, right? So that's why I didn't really use it that much last year.
No, it's a bummer. Well, hopefully it ends well.
Yeah.
Son of Sandy, will we ever get the Mazda Straight 6 Turbo in a performance application?
No.
Unlikely. No. Extremely unlikely. Troy Sanders, although if someone like for SEMA did a swap into a Miata,
happen probably.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, flying Miata, it would be pretty cool if flying Miata made a swap kit.
Because they announced they're not doing V8 swaps anymore.
Yeah, I think they were having some trouble with carb and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then the cost and the number of the number of customers they had doing it.
Yeah. Troy Sanders, how do you distinguish whether you're burnt out on a car or just driving it too much? I'm daily driving an E28 M5 right now. Wow. Okay, which I bought as a weekender. It's great, but some of the sparkle fades when stuck in traffic doing mundane errands, etc. Well, that all tracks. I mean, an E28 M5, the things that make it awesome are A, flinging it around because it's like lightweight and responsive.
Right.
And B, just the fact that an E28 M5 is like a cool novelty. It's not fast by today's standards.
Yeah.
And if you're not like revving out the engine and like hucking it into a corner, like when you're being stuck, it's not a fun car to be in traffic in an E28 M5. Like that's not.
No. I mean, that the problem is, well, one of the things that we sort of sometimes when we're over drinks, like we complain that car makers are trying to do too many, using technology to make a car that shouldn't have to do every single thing to do everything.
Yes.
But there's something to that. Like we're thinking about that now. An E28 M5 was not made to do everything. It was not really made to sit in traffic. And if you're a lawyer,
from the 80s didn't have to do everything.
No, they didn't. Because if you were you worked at a law firm in 1986 and you had an E28 M5, you put up with it because you showed up and you parked it in your spot and everybody saw it there and whatever. But
if you were wanted the right commuter car, it would probably just be the automatic 525 or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
I would say go back to driving it on the weekends for a little while.
Right.
And if it's still not that fun when you take it out, then you sell it.
Sell it and get something else.
It may just be what you're using it for. Because, I don't think any car is fun in traffic. To me, the best car for traffic is the one that's invisible. Radar cruise,
my electric Ford.
Electric shit.
Perfect in traffic.
Because it's, quiet and relaxing.
Well, and the problem with the Jag, too, is, I have to go... I mean, the good thing about the Jag is that, unlike the E28 M5, it's a pretty comfortable car, even though it could use a little bit more travel.
I will argue that E28 M5, the seats, assuming they're in good condition, are excellent. The driving position, all that.
Yeah.
Compared to the cars of the time, an E28 M5 is ergonomically very good.
Yeah, exactly.
I will defend the E28 M5, but not compared to a 20 years newer Jaguar.
Right, but my problem is maybe Troy's problem too is I have to drive so far to get to the good roads. It takes me my first hour is either in traffic or on interstates where the possibility of traffic and where the car doesn't really shine very well. And,
Sure.
And, I mean, the
if
Jag,
you have a
the
cool,
Jag
fun
does,
weekend car, and you drive it every single day, the shine will wear off.
Yes.
Especially if every day isn't if you don't live on Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah, right. Because every day, right,
If you're that guy that gets to drive halfway around the Nürburgring every day to go to work because you're on that town on the other side,
Right, exactly.
and you get the season pass, you know.
Right, I'm just commuting.
There's like a plumber who does that, commutes down the Nürburgring.
So funny, yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
Dude, if I drove my Ferrari every single... Well, look, my Porsche 911, which was as lifted and it was as good a city car as a cool, air-cooled 911 could be.
Yeah.
I got tired of that activity after a while.
Right.
And I didn't have the energy to go out in the desert because I was driving for a living and I didn't want to go driving for fun.
Well, that's the thing.
And I was like, well, if I'm tired of it doing this city thing and I'm not going to go do the thing that it's good at, I might as well move it on. And that's what happened.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's the thing.
If you're able to send it back to weekend duty, I would do that.
Yeah.
I think we kind of answered some of what Derek Yegan's question says, but I'll pull out a part of it.
Okay.
Why is Mike, you're making a show about IMSA racing. Why is Matt wrong for not being interested in watching endurance racing?
Well, I mean, I don't know whether I can, because I don't think anybody, I think people who are into cars for different reasons, and it's not necessarily competition. The problem, again, that we get into is like, people who are really into cars are into a broad spectrum of cars. Like, you're not just into one kind of thing, right? Like, you're into all kinds of shit. And then when you turn on endurance racing and you see basically 5 classes of fairly similar cars, it's not very interesting. So
endurance racing is really fun to participate in.
Right.
I've done enough endurance racing at low budget stuff.
Yeah.
I've done some lemons, which is silly, but it's still racing. I've done some other amateur level endurance racing, and it's very, very fun to do.
Right.
It's not very fun to watch. The scenery doesn't change that much.
Right.
The odds that you are going to witness something super exciting happen over a 24-hour race is not high.
Right. You have to be in the universe, right? You have to anyway, when I was a kid, all the guys that I knew that were into baseball were one of two people that were, one type was, sort of into seeing the players come up from either college or somewhere else and then sort of go into the sport itself and sort of follow their because baseball is not the most exciting sport. So it's either that or like there's the stats guys.
Yeah.
Like you're really into the stats and like could rattle them off and like there's got to be something that you connect to about motorsports that's outside of the cars themselves.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like you have to really connect with the drivers. You have to connect with what the whole sort of effort of the guys in the paddock being able to change an entire rear end of a car in 15 minutes and only be 17 laps down or whatever it is.
And also, for me, what I love about cars is participating.
Right.
Driving the car in the canyon.
Yeah, that's why it's hard.
Racing the car. Changing the tire.
Right.
Like, doing the thing.
Right.
I don't enjoy... I can enjoy, if I can get into for little bits of time... racing simulators. I don't love them, but I can get into them once I'm into them. But what I fucking hate more than anything else in the world is watching someone else do a racing simulator. Like, just fucking, I'll be anywhere else. So that's what's hard about endurance racing. It's a big time commitment to be a fan.
Well, and that's hard about motorsport, getting people into motorsports, and that's why it took Drive to Survive to get a mass crowd in America into. Into
because
the
stories are more interesting than the racing a lot of the time.
Exactly. Right. So if you're not into the stories, the human story, that's 100% it. The human stories are either interesting to you or they're not, and it's hard to make it. And who do I think is going to win GTP? It's like I feel like Cadillac hasn't really shown itself. I think they're going to be very, very strong. I think Porsche had an unfortunate Daytona. I think Porsche's got a good shot. I don't know where Acura is now, and I don't know. Maybe Wayne Taylor can do it. They had really good pace. Yeah, I don't know. One of three, I think. BMW's probably not, but I would love to see them do better.
I'm going to combine Ted, Theo, Logan, and Philip LaFranca's question into one. Philip LaFranca wants to hear, or Ted wants to hear your dice voice.
Oh.
Fair.
Oh.
And Philip LaFranca wants to know what year your hair was best.
Oh, what year?
So you need to talk about your best hair year as Andrew Dice Clay.
Mary had a little lamb. Her pussy fell out. Wait, was that the?
Its hair was white as snow.
My hair was the best. I would say my hair was fucking excellent in 1988. My hair was.
Oh, that's when it was curly.
So were many
as
people's
shit.
hair.
It was
real good.
unfucking believable. It
Yeah.
really was. I don't know if you could. No, there's not going to be anything.
It's not on the internet.
It's not on the internet.
My good hair preceded the World
You
Wide
showed us a
Web.
photo once. I think you had like a cutoff jean
Oh,
jacket
I did. There
with
is
like a
something
t-shirt
somewhere. Yeah, there is
Maybe,
one
maybe,
somewhere.
maybe. Nah.
Might be-
Wasn't
might
it
be
the one where
Facebook.
you looked like the dude from the Breakfast Club?
Yes.
Judd.
Yeah, Judd Hirsch. My Judd, not Judd Hirsch.
Reinhold. Judd. No, who's
Judd
that?
Nelson.
Who's
Judge
Judd
Nelson. Judge Reinhold.
Oh, Judge Reinhold.
It's
yeah, no,
Fast
I
Times.
combined
He was
Judd
the-
Nelson and Judge Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold and no, Judd Hirsch was Taxi.
Yeah. Yes.
Judge Reinhold, mock trial with Jay Reinhold. That was Arrested Development.
We were in. Oh no, I thought it was
We were
something
in
that
Syria.
predated my understanding English.
That's right.
Tom Rosenbaum says, Mike, of your previous jobs, and then proceeds to list off Mike's resume, is there one you wish you stayed with longer? You assume he chose to leave.
Yeah, exactly. Tom, I appreciate the vote of confidence. So I think, the drive. Okay, so wow, it's so interesting because in almost everything that I've done that's mentioned there, it was a cycle that cycled out, and things fundamentally changed that made it either impossible to keep going in some way, or
The well ran dry.
the well-read drive. Oh, retrospect, I wish I had started Jalopnik for myself, and I didn't have to listen to a company that was sort of like I probably it wouldn't have been as popular as it is. Or it had been up until recently. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really been paying attention. Jalopnik,
I haven't been paying a lot of attention to it recently, so I don't know. But
so I wasn't really. I don't know. I feel like Jalopnik's one that I feel like I probably, if the circumstances were different, I probably would wish I would have stayed longer. I think.
if it was different, I'd have run it into the ground myself.
Yeah, exactly. I would have
Rather
run that
than
shit
letting-
right there.
Rather than letting those other assholes.
Well, fuck them. I would have ran that shit right. I mean, let's face it. Like because the thing about Jalopnik is in the beginning, it was really there was no business. We had no business doing it.
Yeah.
There was no.
Well, that's most publications.
Most things that are interesting are like things that you do for a different reason, and then the business either finds it
Right.
or doesn't.
Right.
And the way that I was doing Jalopnik, the business challenge would have been less would have been easier to navigate if it was just me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If it was just me and a couple other guys, if it was Davey and Johnny, and
If you didn't work for the money man.
well, the thing about growing and growth hacking is a fucking term that used to, because I came from a
Guys,
different
follow
world.
Growth Hacking on Instagram for daily financial advice.
Exactly.
Financial and fitness advice.
I came from a different time. Like I came from magazines like Spy and High Times and fucking the original. Well, maybe not the original Car and Driver, but the
The good 80s
the good
car and
80s car.
driver.
And I wasn't thinking at all about the business of it ever.
Yeah.
And what happened was when the
That's why
digital
I'm so
world.
happy I have a Mike guy.
Yeah,
Road
exactly.
Track. Like, he tells me about his day, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's not why I started doing this.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I know. You have the funnest job at the magazine.
Yes.
Everyone above you has less fun than you.
It's a tough, media is a tough thing to be in right now. I forgot the rest of that question, but
he was asking who owns the rights now to the Drive, but as far as I know, all the Drive videos are still up.
Yeah, all the Drive videos are still up. Drive is owned by a company called Recurrent, which owns a bunch of other media properties. I think they've done a pretty damn good job with it. I mean, like it's a very difficult thing. I mean, they're run by a private equity firm that's brought a bunch of brands together, including Popular Science, which I used to ironically enough, and so they have a network which makes it, I think, a little bit easier to monetize all this stuff.
Zach, do you remember that video that this dude is asking about? Because you worked on Big Muscle.
I did, but I don't remember why it happened. I generally don't remember the details, but some of the seasons of Big Muscle were taken off of YouTube.
Yeah, Mike bought back, or Mike bought the rights back to
the Mr. Angry YouTube channel?
Maybe. Look on the Mr. Angry channel.
Actually, you may actually want to look on Mike Musto's personal Mr. Angry YouTube channel, because there might be some episodes of Big Muscle up there.
Yeah, I think those guys, I don't remember how many episodes it was, but it was...
Some of those episodes of Tuned I went back and looked at recently and have racked up many numbers in the years. Some of those things are pretty long-term.
Yeah, but here's the other thing, is they also own Donut. They bought Donut.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, arguably
so now
their
Donut
premier...
can rip off themselves.
Nulu contendery. No, but Donut is arguably their premier video property right now. So maybe that's,
Tim A., thoughts on the rumored 2025 BMW M5 Touring sold in America? I don't know about that. I mean, BMW. When was the last BMW? BMW's never sold an M wagon here in America. They had them in Europe. The F10. I always feel
like they had. I always feel like the E60.
I'm sorry, not F10. E60 is what I meant. The V10 one.
Right.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I always feel like they did, but they didn't. Right.
In Europe, I think.
In Europe, they did, but they never brought that here.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It seems like they sell more X3Ms and X5Ms here than they sell even M3 sedans.
Right,
so,
right.
I don't.
No wagons are ever. No, they're over it.
And he says it seems like America is in the middle of an enthusiast wagon renaissance. I don't even think that is true. I mean, the R6, the E63 has been sold here for a long time, and the RS6 Avant is the only other one I could think of.
Cadillac removed theirs. So
I feel like wagons have their audience, and there's always a wagon on Bring a Trailer that you could point to and go, "Oh, this fucker went for big money." But I don't know. I feel like the wagon audience is split between people who say they like wagons and people who would actually buy wagons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's just the first one is bigger than the second.
Much bigger. Yeah.
For most times, I prefer a crossover. Honestly,
I had that argument with Johnny Smith on Twitter the other day. He was just like, "Who would rather have a crossover?" I was like, "Hey man,
someone who's 6'3".
It's easier to get into. Ground clearance, bad roads, driveways. It's more utilitarian. And nowadays with modern, engines, like the MPG is so good.
But you don't want to. You're not suffering for your art enough. So that's the problem.
That's right. I haven't made my life more difficult.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's something here though, like the idea of sacrifice for the thing that you are into, and the idea of purity.
I drive that every day.
But exactly.
I got stiff suspension for no reason.
But social media has sort of done that. Well, it always existed, right? In like, there's always like the comic book guy version of whatever the thing that people are into.
Right, but social media allows you to share those nuances of your life. Right. Like if Chubba Cheetah daily drove, who was the editor of Car and Driver for a while, right?
Right.
A long time. If he daily drove a 289 Cobra, let's just say, I don't know what Chubba daily drove, but if he decided he might be able to do one story for the magazine about that one time.
Right.
If you are the guy or girl or whoever who daily drives some fucking Blastoline tank car creation, you can create an entire identity around that and be your own brand for that. Like that dude, I don't even know his fucking name, but the guy who drove the 308 to Alaska.
Brian,
I was
Brian Bad
just
Decisions?
pretending I was him online.
Yeah.
No.
But like that, you know what I mean? Like
exactly, it's exactly it.
You could suffering for your hobby.
100%.
You could be an entire brand now.
It's really.
I'm so glad I'm old enough that I don't feel the need to do it for myself.
Right, but what works as a brand doesn't necessarily work as a human being who just goes about their life.
You know what brand it works for? Hoonigan.
Yeah, sure.
Whether you're Ken or some fucking grimy dude hanging out down there under a lift in a flat bill, suffering for your craft tracks.
Well, that's so interesting, and I feel like people. I talk to people like, why don't you do YouTube anymore? Why don't you do this and that? And I'm like, well, I kind of like doing what I'm doing, but also, I don't want to be a brand. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know. I don't know what I would do. I probably should have turned the Jag into a brand a little bit more. Like, it should have had its own Instagram page. I should have done more Jaggy things with it. I could have probably,
Zach needs
bought
a daily
another
driver.
Jag and then. Do you?
Zach
but I don't want
Zach
that one.
could keep it alive.
Yours is awesome, but it's like adding another project car.
Exactly. It's an ongoing project car. But anyway, but that's an interesting thing, right? So we were talking last time about the dude with the 996 off-road, who does the 996 off-road channel. I was just looking at his Instagram before. That's something that he has turned into a great little micro content channel. Whether or not he feels that is suffering or not, maybe sometimes it is, sometimes it's fun enough to make it worth it. But that's really, as an enthusiast, like the idea that you have to do that is a brand new thing. Like I don't understand half of the things, but that's one of those.
Because it's all about clout and cred, right? You need cred. Right. And if you can convince your people that you're doing something that most other people would find to either be hardcore or perhaps even like miserable, I can't believe you're doing that.
Right.
Or using something as intended, even if it was obviously not intended for that. Using something for something it's not intended for.
Yeah.
If it's thing that's good at this, doing this,
Right.
So.
Well, but anyway.
Interesting concept.
Interesting concept.
Yeah.
It really is.
Lucas says, is it a bad idea to buy extreme performance tires for a car that will only see street use? Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. R compounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever drive a car on the street in R compounds where it was objectively better than Pilot Supersports?
No.
Did you see that picture of the air-cooled 911 that flipped on Angeles Crest
it was
2
on
weeks
slicks.
ago? It was on slicks.
Oh,
yeah.
shit,
And it was
yes, I saw that.
And they were going for a canyon drive, which isn't like, I don't know if you call it street driving, but even so, like slicks on the street, you went up there, it's wintertime.
That is not a good idea.
And the person was okay, but that is not a good idea.
Yeah. Pierce says, I've always loved the 1960s British era of everyman sports car. Of Triumph, MG, and Austin Healey, who made the best roadster?
Wow. Oh, man.
I have very little experience with any of these cars.
Triumph is the best when it runs. Austin Healey's are so cool, but I've never driven one.
The Austin Healey's look like cheap Jaguars to me. It's like a cheap XK. A little swoopy.
That's funny. I have no idea how. I just watch them from afar. MGs are fun as fuck, but they're really slow. I don't know. What's best?
Never driven any of them, honestly. I have no experience in those.
I drove a TR6 that I really liked, but.
What was the Triumph they made with a V8? That's the good one.
No idea.
You mean the TR6 is also cool, which is not a V8. But I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Sunbeam Tiger. Different.
Oh,
Sunbeam Tiger.
Sunbeam Tiger is. I have driven one of those, and they are cool.
What they did a GT V8.
MG
but that was an
those
MG
are cool.
GT V8.
Those are cool, man. I saw one on the road the other day. It's a good
That's on the
looking
list
little
of cars that I would love to have.
Okay, a lot of words from Daxa, but here we go. In the last episode, you said that reduced speed limits are not the answer to new, heavy, dangerous EVs, and that a monetary disincentive would be better. Would you be open to, in many countries in Southeast Asia, there are weight class and braking performance-related speed limits enforced on commercial and private vehicles by a device in a car that beeps loud at you if you exceed it, and they can detect if it's been tampered with at every biannual inspection. I think pay the cost to be the boss falls flat in this case because it means rich guys can get away with doing more insane harm like they already do everywhere else. As a result, you almost never see large trucks in the passing or middle lane, which is quite nice, actually. Well, so braking and performance-related speed limits, meaning the vehicle is programmed differently for each type of car?
I don't understand the braking performance one. I get the weight class, and so in other words, like if you're driving let's say a 9,600 pound electric Hummer, right, your speed limit is now 55.
Yeah,
but if you've got a lighter car, it's higher.
But
I don't know the braking performance.
When I bought my Skyline, it had that thing in it that beeped at 60 miles an hour.
Oh, right.
And I had it taken out. But I've experienced that type of device.
Didn't Volvo do that? I remember there was like a couple of, but you could disable it.
Most cars have a programmable speed limiter warning that you can go in and turn on for kids or the valet key or something like that.
Yes.
I don't necessarily agree because I don't think he says pay the cost to be the boss falls flat in this case because it means rich guys can get away with doing more insane harm. Rich guys are the only people who can buy these things. These aren't cheap. These are $100,000 vehicles.
Right.
And I think that I think the point is to de-incentivize people buying larger cars at all levels because larger cars are bad even when they're not going fast. When they take up too much space in parking lots and traffic, they inconvenience other people. And so it's not just about preventing those large cars from going fast. It's about disincentivizing people from buying them because there's these extra taxes.
Yeah.
And I think it would work because financial incentives work the other way too.
Right. Well, another issue I just looked up, the braking distance for a Toyota Sienna from 60 is actually further than the distance for a Hummer EV. So, if they were gonna flag people for braking distances, it actually doesn't really work, even though the Hummer weighs 3,000 pounds more than the Sienna does.
The Hummer also. What's interesting about EVs then is you also have, regenerative braking, which sort of adds to the amount of braking force. But it's funny about a Sienna, right? So a Sienna has probably car brakes, and
interesting. Okay.
I don't know.
Good thought, though.
Yeah.
Scooter says, what vehicles do you find to be the coolest and most interesting at a Cars and Coffee event? Are there any cars that people think are cool but you find to be lame and uninteresting? Well, let's separate lame from uninteresting.
Yes.
A Lamborghini Aventador SVJ is not lame.
But
it is uninteresting to see one at a Cars and Coffee because if you've seen one, you've seen them all, and it's that one's blue and that one's white and that one's black.
Right, but a Diablo SV in purple.
Yes. But a Lamborghini Silhouette in any color where they made 58 of them and you might not ever look at it twice, that is interesting.
Right.
Or a mint condition car that has no business being mint condition because it's something that was just so normal at one point in your life.
A Subaru. Oh no! I got one.
You show me a Saab 900 turbo sedan automatic, in Los Angeles.
Show me an '87 Suzuki Swift GTI in mint condition, and I would love to see that more than the Diablo SV.
Yeah. there's a lot of supercars where if you see one, you've seen them all. It just what color is this one? And so I walk right past all of that stuff.
That's
I'm not going to get mad if you want to see it or if that's what you're into, but I'll make a beeline to an 86 Buick Regal that has like 7,000 miles on it. Just go,
right.
What is the story of this thing that was never driven like a normal car?
Any quad 4, Oldsmobile Omega, like a late 80s Omega. Well, which was it? Which one had the quad 4 in it? It was the
Delta 88?
No, this was a small one. Was it the Pontiac?
There was a smaller one? The Cavalier?
No, the quad 4
the Sunbird.
Was the no, but they did that 442. No, but that's a very rare car. Anyway.
Oh, the like 80s,
the 80s 442, right?
Yeah,
with
that
the
was
quad 4.
That was kind of sad.
It's pretty sad, but if I saw one of those now, I would go to see that before I would go to see something else.
Dude, a fucking Beretta GTU just sold on Bring a Trailer for $40,000. You know, it was like
a yellow one or a teal one.
I think it was yellow
because we're bringing it all back home with the teal.
But when was any car I see where I go, when was the last time I even saw one of these?
Right.
And B, when was the last time I saw one in a condition where this car went straight from showroom to collector and missed the whole in-between part being used for a regular car.
True. Yeah.
Ivan Capote, when was the time you thought a vehicle was too fast? Today, everything seems to almost have supercar speed or acceleration.
Everything's too fast.
Is this still a measure of a good sports car?
Nothing. No, it's not. And I was in an Uber. A guy picked me up in a Tesla Model Y Performance. Was it a Model Y or a Model X Performance?
Did the doors do this?
No, the doors did that. Yeah,
it was a Y.
It was a Y, yeah.
And then stay there? Fucking droop a little bit?
But, like, we were talking about that. We were like, what do you, like, who? He was like, first of all, he's a mechanic. He does Uber up until 10 o'clock in the morning. Then he goes to his job fixing basically Subaru head gaskets. Like, his whole job is just rebuilding Subaru head gaskets. He makes a ton of money doing that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right?
I was going to say, if he didn't have a $75,000 vehicle, maybe he wouldn't need 2 jobs, but okay.
But he's been doing Uber with that thing for a year because they have Uber Black or Uber Premier.
Yeah, it's
the more expensive
the expensive one, the upgraded one.
So he's been, but he said the only
small car, big money.
Exactly. But small car, big money, exactly. But the only thing that went wrong with his car was a heat pump, right? And it was covered under warranty. That's a $4,000 part. But anyway, aside from that, it's so fucking fast. It's crazy. I mean, or quick. I mean, who cares now? Like Tesla made it irrelevant to be a quick car now.
Sure, and that's extended to almost all EVs. When I was just before EVs really became mainstream, I had like a personal rule that was you always buy the biggest engine of the car that they will sell you. Exactly right. Because inevitably you will want more.
Right.
And so you might as well start with the highest thing the factory will do and then go from there if you want. Like,
sure.
That was after I had bought a Mustang GT. Mm-hmm. And I should have just got the goddamn Cobra because within a year I had the engine out of the car and whatever.
Yeah.
And so you buy the fastest thing that they'll sell you and then you can go from there.
Right.
But I now have the Mach-E that does not have the fast because with the electric car it just doesn't matter because the middle one is still flying.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't matter anymore.
No, it doesn't matter. And so what does matter in a good sports car, right? Like, I mean, it's all suspension tuning then. Like,
yeah, and the fizz. You want to have the fizz.
It's got to have the fizz.
I mean, it's got to have enough power.
Right.
But, like, for me, in a car that's like 3,100, 3,200 pounds, which is like light for a modern road sports car, but not like pulling the interior out of shit.
Yeah.
400 to 500 horsepower, that's a really fast car still.
Yeah.
And, like, that's about as fast as I can drive stick. The car is faster than 500 horsepower, like, and I can't really quite keep up shifting. Like when I drove the Viper ACR at Thunderhill,
right,
I was like, okay, this is now fast enough. I don't want to be shifting anymore.
Right.
500 horsepower and 3,100 to 3,400 pounds. Like that's about as fast as I want a manual go.
I mean, the Mopars are like that. You know what I mean? It's like when they hook up. But still, you're right. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. Kevin says, okay, would a BMW 128i convertible be a good NC Miata replacement?
Ooh.
None in my area to test drive, and he needs the space so he can bring his fiance and dog at the same time when he goes for a drive. Wants a car that feels light and tossable. Fun is priority number one. Zach, you drove that 128 recently. Do you want to chime in?
I mean, it was a really nice, fun car. But if he wants a convertible specifically, I don't think a convertible 128 is going to give you the joy and flickability you get from a Miata. And I also don't think a Camaro or Mustang will.
Yeah, it's really far away from a Miata in tuning and feel. So I would keep the Miata and just get an E46 convertible, and then just cruise around in that because it's enough of it. I mean, it's heavier and stuff. And the 128i is a spry little thing, but it's not.
I doubt an E46 convertible is much heavier than a 128.
Actually, that's true because
I bet it's pretty close.
Didn't we measure this once years ago? It's basically the same.
It's close
setup.
It's close. Yeah.
It's just a little shorter overall, but like the wheelbase is very similar.
It's 35 to 3,600 pounds.
Yeah.
For a convertible.
For a 128?
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's dense.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 pounds more than the Mazda?
A dense weight.
Yes.
That's like
1,000 pounds.
It's like a
lot.
with a baby.
Just get the convertible as a cruiser.
Get the Mazda. Keep the Mazda. Put a baby elephant in it, and there's your.
TC, do you guys tint the windows on your cars? I've noticed some British journalists are extremely anti-tint and will even go out of their way to remove any factory tint.
There's no sun.
There's
there.
no fucking sun in England. Why would you want tint?
I mean, really, if you had no tint here, you'd be done. You'd be donezo.
England is a real. I understand this. England. They're real like, oh, you got to tint your. I'm not doing the accent, but like,
who do you
live, London? Who do you think you are in there, mate? Who do you think you are behind that glass, mate? I can see you. I know you're nobody. Like
I know you're nobody.
It's fucking hot and sunny here.
Yeah.
They have a weird cultural thing there where it's like it's associated with criminals or celebrities, but here
tosses.
It's just people if you live somewhere where it's really sunny. That's what it's for. It's like it helps cool the car down. The car's more efficient. It can protect you from skin or sun stuff. Like it's a good thing to have.
British cultural differences. We think that we're very much alike, but there are some very specific cultural differences. Growing up during the sort of football hooligan era, like, have you ever read that book by I'm even forgetting what it was called. It was about all that hooliganism shit. It gets scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Like you go,
well, they're stabbing each other and shit.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, you're drinking tea in a little cup and then you're fucking beating somebody's head in.
Yeah, I've seen Guy Ritchie movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But also to the point though, like there are certain cars that look really good with tint, and there's certain cars that look really bad with tint.
Sure.
And there's certain eras of cars that look bad with tint.
Yeah.
You should never put tint, for instance, on a soft top convertible.
Tint on a soft top convertible. No, because then when you put the top down, you
can't ever have the windows up and the top down.
Right.
And also like Volkswagens from the 1980s or like boxy BMWs look really bad with tint. You shouldn't get tint on that.
That's true. But like an E30 with tint.
Right. And then in modern crossovers and for a lot of modern cars in America, they tint the back half anyway.
Right.
And so when you tint the front too to match the back, then it looks like normal.
Yeah.
My Ford, I only have the only car we have tint on my house is my Ford, and it's the front windows are the same as the factory rears, and it looks like it's supposed to be like that.
Right.
That's
a good point.
You're a lucky man.
Mr. Rothstein, you're a lucky man.
You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, Mrs. Rothstein.
Sorry, Zach. This thing was upside down. This is Rusty.
Last question.
Look at
Oscar
that.
Negron. I live in Massachusetts, and my friend is racing IMSA TCR this year.
Oh.
I want to go watch him race at Lime Rock, but I was wondering, is the 6-hour drive to Watkins Glen worth it?
I love Lime Rock, but I think it's worth it to go.
As a spectator? You're not driving the course, bro.
That's right.
You're not driving the course. I think Lime Rock, as far as places to watch a race.
Yeah, right, to be there.
Is between the hillside where you have a great view.
Yeah.
You could walk. I mean, if it's a 3-hour race, you walk the entire track twice probably.
You could camp there.
Versus the Glen, which if you're saying, is it worth the drive to Glen for a track day? Yes. Probably.
Also, if you're going in a time machine, you're going back to like 1971, where like the Allman Brothers are playing, and you're going to set the place on fire.
Where was the name of the place we stayed?
Oh, that famous lodge,
Seneca Lodge. The Seneca Lodge with the fucking Francois Sever piano still up in that place.
Shit. Right.
That bar, the Seneca Lodge,
that was really
that
cool.
Very much.
Yeah, me too.
Seneca Lodge was choice.
Yeah, I mean. Lime Rock doesn't have a place like that. Like, you would...
just Paul Newman's house. You just go to fucking Paul Newman's house.
Oh, yeah, you ain't around anymore.
Yeah.
Show up with a bowl of salad, no dressing. You're like, hey, let's be friends.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the places around Lime Rock fucking hate Lime Rock.
That's true, yeah. Well, it's kind of,
someone just clarified us that the Kona only comes as DCT.
Real quick
note before the commenters.
That's
before the
That's true.
In before the comments.
I forgot that it only came as DCT. That's frustrating.
Go get GTI.
Yeah,
that's what they should.
Or a Civic Si.
That's also a great car.
A Civic Si is not as fast as the Elantra, but it's
Civic
pretty
SI
nice to drive. Good inputs. I'd rather have a Civic Si than a WRX for sure.
Yes,
I haven't driven the new
It is not
WRX, really.
great.
I mean, I've heard some things, but
it's not great.
I've heard some things.
It's not great.
Zach, I heard some things.
Every member of Road and Track's editorial staff melted their own set of brake pads in the WRX.
That's sweet. That's really nice.
They legit got went through, I think, 3 sets of brake pads in 2 days. I felt bad for those guys. They were doing it. All right. Check out IMSA Official's YouTube channel.
Yes, Win the Weekend.
And Win the Weekend. Episode 3 is up now.
Yeah, and also one thing we didn't talk about was I'm also doing Top Gear American Tuned with Rob Dahm.
Yes.
So, it's really my first time working with Rob, although I've known him on and off for a couple of years. Rob's great.
Yeah,
he's a great dude.
Good, solid dude.
And
out of his mind, kind of.
Yeah, but in that good nerdy way that a lot of us are.
Yeah. He keeps his out of his mind in the shop.
Yeah.
He's not going, you know who can fix the planet? Rob Dahm.
I don't know. Maybe he could. Who knows? But I mean, so also go to Top Gear American Tuned on YouTube. We finished the last season. We're starting production on the new season this year, so we're looking for cars actually. So if
you have the tuner cars,
this was a fun one. Yeah, we did a
hydraulics.
We did a lowrider with wait, where.
Fucking ads
with Long Beach Lloyd, who was also on Hoonigan.
I tried to do bouncing lowriders a couple of times, and I think the people who've owned the cars were always a bit worried that I was going to make fun of them, and they kind of they didn't really just take my word for it. They're like, no, I actually think this is awesome.
Yeah. Well, Long Beach Lloyd don't give a fuck.
That's a cool yellow Impala. That's pretty.
Yeah,
sweet.
well, that's the Impala from Tupac.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's his? From the video.
Yeah. Why am I forgetting it? It's Live and Die in L.A.
Oh yeah. Great fucking track.
Yeah, amazing track. That's the one. That's the car from the video, and Long Beach Lloyd bought it as a regular Impala, and he put the hydraulics on it.
Did he provide it for the video?
No,
he owned it at the time.
No, he bought it from the guy. He bought it.
It didn't bounce in the video.
It didn't bounce in the video. It was just a regular Impala.
Oh, all right, yeah.
So he bought it from some guys.
Sweet.
Yeah, there you go. It was just dropped in the video, and he bought it from some guy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's awesome. I'd like to have a Tupac music video car. That would be pretty sweet.
Cool. And we, so we drove around Long Beach.
That's fun.
That was cool. Rob got the. We hung out with the car club and stuff. So that was really fun. We did that.
That's fun.
Yeah, and then we did an episode. There's a lot of stuff.
Oh, the 2JZ XJS. I saw that one.
2JZ XJS.
That was pretty cool. That car looks great.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a very good looking. That's a classy. I think an XJS is one of those cars that I personally, it's like if I had like fucking buku dollars.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just said buku, but if I had buku dollars, I would have an XJS and an Aston Martin Lagonda.
Oh, of
both
course.
like, Detroit speed chassis.
Yeah. Of course.
The whole deal. Aston V12.
Yeah.
In there.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right?
Because you would. I mean, this car was so neat. It was like
car looks great.
It's like a little bit more GT Supra.
When do you think XJSs are really going to have their fucking day? Are they already coming up?
I think that they're the perfect car to be resto modded.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody's really.
Did this guy just take everything Jaguar out of it?
No, it's just the engine. What's the transmission? Maybe he didn't even. It's a Tremec.
It's a manual.
No,
it's an auto.
It's an auto box. So it's a
2JZ with an auto. That's interesting.
Yeah, but it's an original. It's an old 2JZ. It's what's the one before? I always get into this. No, it's a 2J. It's a 2JZ without. What did the first version of the 2JZ not have?
A turbo.
No VVT.
No, it was.
Yeah,
what do you call it? Fucking
Variocam?
Variocam, yeah. Or whatever they
VVTi?
VVTi, yeah.
Is that Toyota's?
I'm losing some.
But I'd
some
love
stuff.
to do a fucking Jag. That one's real cool.
Yeah, that was real cool.
That one's real cool.
Also,
this show about tuner cars around Southern California
very similar
seems
to a show
awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Where have I seen this concept before?
So we're actually.
That's a good shot. That's a Will Barber.
That's a Will Barber.
That looks like a Will Barber
Downtown
shot.
LA.
No, let me see. Was that a Tom?
Was it a Morning Star?
Maybe a Morning Star.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
Tom was with us on that.
Oh
no, he wasn't. Who was with us?
I'd love to have a fucking XJS coupe with a motor swap. If I had a little more, just like a little more money to piss away, I would get going on that.
Someone's got to. I mean, it must. God, I mean,
great looking car.
It is really. I mean, that's a car that I would get if I had the balls.
You still get the Road Rat?
Yeah.
There was a good XJS article on the Road Rat last issue. I recommend the Road Rat. It's a good magazine. That's a good. That's worth 48 pounds a year. I think that's what it is. Isn't it 48 pounds a year?
I think it's more than that actually.
It might be 48 pounds every 6 months.
It sounds about right.
Yeah. 2 installments. 2 equal payments.
Yeah.
Plus, you got to leave a security deposit.
And then we did the thing with the guys from Throttle. There was some really cool shit that.
The Fast and Furious
Supra.
Yeah. They remade it, right?
They remade it. It's a tribute. It's wider. It's got, but blew the diff, went back and did it again.
Nice.
That's a cool show. I mean, so much shit. This guy, the BMW 1602, this dude who shapes surfboards, in where the hell were we? Not
that's
Newport.
That's a good action.
Is this
camera.
Son of Cobra's car?
Oh, this
Son
thing. I've seen that guy. Yeah,
you know that guy. Yeah.
That's funny. The last that's Horse Thief Mile that's on.
We did a lot of Horse Thief this
year. And these cars. I drove the most when Clarion builds.
I remember that.
Remember that Clarion builds 2002.
And I remember you shot that there.
At Horse Thief Mile, and it would not go up the hill in 4th gear. You had to be zinged out, banging off the rev limiter in 3rd. It was so underpowered. The car looked amazing, but it was so slow.
That,
It had some crazy hot rod engine too, but it was like instead of 105 horsepower, it's 118. Fucking thing was struggling.
Yeah, it was like I forgot what motor that was. It was just a cammed up version of whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
with like some upgraded carburetor.
Yeah, right.
Shit.
It had.
This guy also did the carbon fiber work for Mike Burrows' car.
Oh
that's
really
high quality.
I've seen that car before. I'm like, I've seen this.
We looked
before.
at his website when Mike.
It's full carbon body or something, right?
A lot of it,
or mostly carbon body.
I'm not sure.
Cool, dude. I mean, this was really fun. This was a fun
That is
episode.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's making surfboards.
He's making surfboards.
That's cool. Yeah, it's on Top Gear's YouTube channel. Go check that out. American Tuned playlist.
Tuned. Yeah, so we're working on the new season and looking for cars right now for so any ideas for really good builds with an
this
interesting
pink Porsche has more power than a GT3 RS.
But I like Rob, the thing about Rob is he really likes engineering little bits of cool engineering. So like if we're looking for stuff that has not just like a different kind of swap or whatever, but something that's like took a little bit of extra thought to do the engineering.
Yeah, he's very good at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Thanks for coming in,
Yeah,
Spinelli.
man. Always fun. I'll be in next year, obviously around March.
Put your auto repopulate on the calendar.
Yeah, I'm staying down at the Three Seasons.
And we're going to go to dinner on Thursday.
Yeah, we're going to dinner. We're
be
going
nice.
to dinner at a pasta bar. But it's more than that.
I've been trying to get a reservation at this place. I was so happy they had it. I've been trying to get a reservation there for like 2 months.
It's amazing.
It's
but
new. It's
when
good.
you hear pasta bar, you think, all you can eat, right? But
CC's
not this
Pizza.
place. Exactly. Dollar slices. No.
Unlimited garlic bread.
I go to the Instagram page and I'm like, duck confit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. The hell
It's pronounced confit.
confit.
It means duck with feet.
Duck
All
with-
right. Thank you, patrons, for patronizing. We appreciate it very much. And what is next on the schedule? We've got Andrew Comrie Picard, our old pal,
ACP.
founder of Zip Tire, racing driver, and now is... Do you know what he's doing now?
No.
He's got a new gig. Something I've been saying that should be done for years. Importing Arctic trucks to America.
Oh, of course. He's a genius. Though.
Arctic
He's a
trucks in
ACP
the
is like-
USA.
Well, it's amazing. He's a very, very smart guy.
I'm going to send them my Mach-E.
Yeah, but where do you do? Where are you gonna? I mean, a truck with giant tires and 10 psi of.
You can put more
Texas,
PSI in
baby,
there.
America.
Tons, right?
It's
Actually,
about freedom.
Yeah, where can you drive a giant truck in this country? Everywhere.
a giant
Everywhere.
Japanese
Irvine.
truck. Yeah, Irvine.
Huntington.
Yeah, but you're basically on balloons. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
But they still work on the road.
they
You
work-
But
just-
isn't that
yeah.
better than being on Rams?
You just air them
Yes.
up.
Be honest.
But
It's better than Rams.
yeah, it's it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be very interesting.
It'll be
to
cool.
see.
So he's
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
on
cool.
Tuesday, and and Zach and I are going to Nitro Rallycross this weekend. So
wow,
that should be
cool.
a good time. So we will report back. See you guys next time. Bye.